technology and ever-changing news and computer terminology. Commodore news. Are you keeping up with the Commodore? Yes, the Commodore is keeping up with you. Are you keeping up with the Commodore? Yes, the Commodore is keeping up with you. Are you keeping up? Yes, the Commodore is keeping up with you. Are you keeping up? Yes, the Commodore is keeping up with you.
Hello, and welcome to episode 221 of Zapped to the Past. I am Major Mills. I'm joined as always by Mr. Graham Raddings. If you haven't listened before, this is a podcast where we discuss games that were released for the Commodore 64. Last week, we looked at our first batch, of games from issue 89 of Zap 64, which we are, of course, in no way affiliated with, and were nicely impressed with Nobby the Aardvark, but were caught screaming into the abyss with Count Duckula 2. This week, we conclude our look at the games in October 1992, along with what was also lighting up our TV and cinema screens that month. Graham, it's only another 2 games this week, but surely this time, quality must win out over quantity.
So the last 2 new games from October 1992 are finally here. Not what you would call a quality dazzling display, but again, we're rolling the dice here. So, in a month, where an estimated 13-kilogram meteorite landed in the driveway of the Knapp residence in Peekskill, New York, destroying the family's 1980 Chevrolet Malibu, for our first game of the 2, we grab our helmet and gloves, polish our visors, put on our driving suits, and climb into the cockpit of our Formula One racing car as we explore the bendy bends, the twisty turns, and the zoomy zooms of another top-down racer in the exciting Slicks. Well, that's it for the first one. So, Halloween 1992, I was probably at good old Gulliver's nightclub in Grimsby with AD, which is what we tended to do around that time. No costumes, though. We didn't really do that in the 90s, and the place was already full of goths and punks anyway. So, while we wonder what happened to all those Grimsby goths, we go ook ook, climb up a tree or two, and throw some mud pies. Yeah, mud, right. As we go full-on coconut crazy and clamber around the Spectrum-like jungles looking for some kind of boredom release valve in the chimp-based kids show turned shitty C64 game, Bangers and Mash. There's only one more magazine left now with this one out the way. The writing was definitely on the wall for the Zap team, and a legacy was coming to an end. I wonder, though, what those brilliant initial Zap staffers thought of the way it ended. I mean, I suspect it was more of a damp party popper, really, than a final mega firework display, I suppose. Seems like such a pity. Oh well. It'd be nice to think that the latter half of the magazine had at least some hope in there. Hope, Jonathan Harker style hope. Oh, please, will ever these vampiric, beautiful women who keep coming at night to suck my blood and other things, why won't they leave me alone? So frustrating being alone in this castle with these beautiful vampire women. If only I could get back to my beloved Mina. Oh, Mina.
I must remember to lock the door.
I must remember.
Lock the door.
I've been wandering around the castle. I've been wandering around all the rooms of the castle, even though I was told not to do that. And I happened upon this room full of it had a giant bed on the floor and sheets. I laid down on it because I was tired.
Well, that took
Monica Bellucci appeared. I'm like, look, all right. Yeah, well, it's just, you know what, you have to make good on the things you do. Well, you have to make good on the things you do. We have to add a little science fiction or a bit of horror, don't we? Because otherwise, we're talking about Count Duckula 2, which was awful. Pig awful, one might say.
It was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Well, not as bad as the Amstrad version, as someone did point out, as we pointed out in the review, and then someone did mention it. I think, mentioned on Facebook, and I was like,
that was terrible. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Poor old Amstrad owners. They didn't have it good always, did they?
No, they didn't. Poor show all round, that, really. How can you make a bad game of Count Duckula? I mean, it's a fun little cartoon thing. You should be able to make something decent out of it about a vampire duck.
Yeah, true. And plus the advantage of the Amstrad, of course, was that if you didn't like the cassette deck, you could always plug it into your toaster and have a lovely bit of toast. Because there's been Amstrads were always compatible with every other electrical appliance, even if you didn't need it.
And then send an email to nobody because they hadn't been invented yet.
Exactly, yeah. It was way ahead of its time. So far ahead of its time.
The only person you could send it to was Alan Michael Sugar. He used to get loads of emails from Amstrad owners.
Yeah,
didn't know what to do with them.
Amstrad himself, Mr. Strad. Anyway, yes. So, it wasn't a good batch batch 2. It wasn't a good duo, was it, last week? It was Batman and rubbish.
It wasn't very good.
So hopefully this time we've got a little bit more under the hood, a little bit more, chutzpah. I'm not 100% certain of those facts, but are we certain about anything in this world anymore? I don't know.
We're not. Before we get to the games, though, obviously, there's the usual.
Ooh,
we have a Patreon, patreon.com/Zapped to the Past if you wish to sign up for that. Yes, the magazine is coming to an end, but we're not. We are still continuing, so, sign up.
We are.
Come along, join us. Get on the Discord, get the episodes early. You probably get them a lot more early once we go to 2 a month.
Yes, you will be getting them early, yeah.
Because we'll sort of space them out a little bit more. At the moment, you get them on Friday instead of the Monday, but when we go 2 a month, there'll be a bigger gap. You will get them a lot more early. So there's that. You can do that. We've got a Ko-fi, ko-fi/Zapped to the Past if you wish to sort of tip us a coffee. We have a shop, zappedtothe-past.shop, if you want to buy some cool merch and things like that. But Graham, we have another announcement to make, do we not?
Yes, we do. Yes.
Do you want to do it? I'll
Yes.
leave you to do it. You've got the voice for it, I think.
Why have I got the voice for it?
You've got the
It's
voice
exciting.
for it. I've got the face for it. You've got the voice for it.
Yeah, it's very true. It's exciting, isn't it? Exciting times. Things are changing, all for the good, I think. No, we've come to the end of the Zapped magazine. You know what? It had to end at some point, didn't it? We've done bloody loads of them. So, loads of them. We've read every one of them, gone through all the pain barrier. The podcast is changing format slightly, but not that much, really. It's still us two talking about stuff and all of that, just slightly shorter, more episodes and just a different cadence. But all of that led us to a thing, didn't it? When we talked about this some time ago, I think it was actually a Christmas cracker.
It was.
A couple of crackers ago. That's how we measure Christmas now. So a couple of crackers ago, we were talking about a project which was going to be a Zapped to the Past book. And we batted it around a little bit and we talked about it, sang it off key at it, and just, threw a few ideas around. We spoke to Gary about it, made sure he would hate the project, which means we definitely would have to do it. Because at some point he would agree that it was the best thing we'd ever done. Anyway, the long and short of it all was, we had a chat about it and we've decided we are going to make a book. And so there will be a Zapped to the Past book, and the book's title will be, Adrian? Not that. I don't know how you spell that. And it's not Adrian either. So, Adrian, what is the title of this book going to be?
Zapped to the Past.
It's Zapped to the Past. The games we played, so you didn't have to.
So you didn't have to. Yes, that's the full title. Yeah.
Yes.
I was just being a bit facetious.
So the plan is that we're currently looking into the final stages, actually, of a successful Kickstarter funding for this. So we're just getting into the final stage of that. Well, I have every hope. And obviously there'll be different tiers and all that stuff that goes with Kickstarter. We're just figuring that bit out in a minute. But the exciting thing is this is going to be a book that is based on, it's Adrian and I writing the book. We've got exciting illustrations, original illustrations from Sue Baker, who's an amazing artist who's going to work with us on this. So you get original art as well, all keyed and themed on the stuff that we say and the type of reviews that we do in the podcast. So we're actually going to pick 25, and there might be some specials in there as well, but just 25, that's the number, of the games that we've played throughout the whole life of this podcast, the games we played so you didn't have to, the real humdingers, the doobry watsits, the smashers, the crackers, the whackers, and the rubbish. And the real stinkers. We're going to pick a selection of those. Some might be good, most probably be bad, but we're going to pick those. We're going to re-review them in our own inimitable way. And obviously we're going to write those instead of speaking the words. And there'll be some artwork that's originally created based upon the things that what we said in those reviews, of course. And so that's what the thematics of this book is going to be about. I'd guess sort of a good weighty tome, 250 odd pages, I'd have thought, something like that.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
All written, there's a hardback this will be, all, full colour, written by Adrian and I, in our style, in our voices as well, in our own typefaces, because yes, that's the exciting thing I get to do. Finally, yes, front row, typefaces for the win. But more importantly, we will be relying on, obviously, on getting this project funded through Kickstarter and something like that. So we're just figuring out those final pieces. We've got publishing assistants and we've got all sorts of stuff. We've got all that bit figured, really. Final little bits of details, and then we will be go, launch, go. And that's when we will need as much support from everybody that listens to this podcast as possible. Patrons, non-patrons, people in between, Gary, and everybody else, all alike, to try and get behind the project, because unless we get it funded, it's not going to happen. And I think it would be a really nice way of finishing off that phase of the podcast. Is that on your shelf, you look across and you see inglorious gold and blue the Zapped the Past book festooned, adorning your shelf. How exciting would that be? And you can go and read any of those 25 things and think, yeah, they were right. Elite was really shit and they knew it was and they said it right from the start. Or Mercenary, it's all see-through and rubbish. If you really want us to reiterate that, we're gonna, potentially. So what do you say, Adrian? I've talked for ages. What do you say about that?
Well, I don't. There's not a lot I can add to that. You've summed it up very well. It is hopefully a project we can get funded. I think it can. I think it'll be a really good project. I think it'll be a really good book. I think it's going to be a good thing to read. Nice thing to have on your shelf. Like you said, we are fine tuning the details on that right now. Just final costings and everything like that to sort of what the Kickstarter total will be, the book cost and everything like that. The pre-campaign will go live hopefully within a week or so. We hope. And then we are looking to launch the full proper campaign will then kick off towards the end of April. Maybe, probably about the last week of April or something like that. So it'll last for a month. It'll go over Zap Live. So, if we come around Zap Live badgering you, well, you've only got yourself to blame.
Exactly. We might even have QR codes on our bodies somewhere, and you have to help us find them. That could be cheeky, couldn't it?
I don't think I agree to that part.
It's in the small print. Totally that. And again, we're just figuring out the backers part. There'll be early bird things and stuff like that. You get your name in the book and all of that. Yeah. All that kind of stuff that, it goes
usual
with these kind of things.
You expect. Maybe a couple you don't.
And Gary might have a few tears of his own. He sheds a tear. He is quite an emotional guy. But the good thing is we might even get Gary. He'll have a little bit of input in there somewhere, I don't doubt, maybe as well. It's a proper love note from the podcast to all of the people that have listened to us for all of these years and for all of those episodes.
And also, just on contributions to the one and only David Hearn is writing the forward for us. He's
I wonder what he was going to say then. Yes, he has. Yes, he has. David, I nearly said it again, Adrian. I nearly said David O'Hearn.
No, don't say it.
Why do I keep saying that? Why has that gone into my head? He is not David O'Hearn. David Hearn, yes, which is pretty exciting, isn't it? He's going to do that.
Yeah, that's cool. So he's agreed to write the forward for that, which is, it's going to be a good thing. We're looking to include as well sort of crap bursts, loading screens, those kind of things as well, just to sort of space it out, break it up. It's got to be a good, fun tome. I think that's the whole point. Like the podcast.
Very much the book of the podcast, in capturing everything that you love about the podcast, and maybe some of the things you don't, but most of the things that you do. I can guarantee the words dog egg are going to be in there somewhere, that's for sure. Probably.
There you go. That's our announcement. Quite a big one, I think.
It is. It's huge. So keep an eye out when we're putting notes out on all the social medias that we do and all that. Social media, it's now been found guilty of crazy, isn't it? But we'll put it out there for people to do. What we'd ask is, and this is my ask, is when they do launch and you see the launch of the Kickstarter, don't sit there in silence and go, that's cool, that is. Pledge away, get yourself back in there so you get a copy. Guarantee yourself a copy because you know what? Obviously, the more people that pledge, the better. But also, importantly, tell everybody, tell people that you know, get people behind the project because that's what we really want.
Yes, we do. And on that note, we have more reviews to do. We have still got a few games remaining from the last couple of issues of Zap. So shall we get to the first one for this week?
Yeah.
And Graham, it's over to you to tell us all about Slicks.
Slicks. Slicks.
Slicks.
All right. It's Slicks. Okay. $3.99 this. Budget then. Codemasters. But not had a good track record with them of recent. Now, there have been more hit than miss, or more miss than hit. More shit than miss, really. More shit than hit. I don't think you want that on a t-shirt, do you? This is developed by Digital Design, though. Now, that's Ash Rutledge and Dave Saunders. Ash and Dave in the house, back again. Those guys, honestly, like machines, aren't they? The title screen was Ashley Rutledge, so Ash did the title screen graphics. And so the graphics, creation, the music, everything in this is by them, apart from Alistair Brimble did the main themes and stuff like that. Okay, that's all good. All good, isn't it? It's still good. What is it, though? What is it? Well, it got 82% in Zap, so it must be something pretty interesting. Okay, well, I say that. Maybe. Everything seems to get whatever score in Zap. It makes no odds. Anyway, I'm going to read from the blurb because there is a blurb. It's the one that's on Lemon, so it's the blurb that I've got. And it says, go wheel to wheel against the world's most famous race teams. Race the entire Grand Prix season from your armchair. Also includes 2-player simultaneous play option. Formula One racing at its very best. Compete in the Super Prix racing in a championship that spans the world. Half the world. Join McLaren, Williams, Ferrari, Benetton, Lotus, and Brabham. You remember them. And in an entire race season from the comfort of your own living room. Travel to all the glamorous locations, from the twists and turns of the Monte Carlo streets to the enduring, accelerating straights of Brazil. Challenge other drivers, then qualify for grid position, just like the real thing. For a true test of reflexes, challenge your mates in the new simultaneous two-player action, head-to-head, wheel-to-wheel playoff. A simulation of truly global proportions with awesome gameplay to match. Start the game by completing the track on your own. The faster lap times give you the better pole positioning. At this point, you may challenge other drivers. If you beat them in the proper race, you can have their car. Complete the race, and you will get points that will add up to the World Championship score.
I wish Formula One really worked like that.
Yeah, I don't think you can claim the car. I don't think
Lewis Hamilton gets challenged by someone else. I don't know any of the races.
They race for pink slips like in Greece. So it's race for pink slips, Bupunk ownership papers. Anyway, why am I quoting Greece? So yeah, points for championship: 10 for a win, 6 for second, 4 for third, 3 for fourth, 2 for fifth, and 1 for sixth. That made sense. Good. All right, we're all on the same page. Good.
It's like I'm playing 3-2-1.
Okay. It's a race game, isn't it? Top-down racer, this. And that's quite nice. We haven't had one of these in a while. When they come up, it's always kind of like, we always compare it to the toenail racing, don't we? Because most of them have been a bit crap. Every now and again, there's a good one here and there, but all right, well, it is what it is. So, what's it all about? Well, it's the realm of the tiny, I suppose you call it the tiny top-down racer, isn't it this, really? What do we call these? We've seen a few on the C64 over the years, and variations. This is a game type that's kind of endured across multiple vehicle types, it seems to me. So you've got Grand Prix Simulator, of course, Hot Rod, Super Sprint, I suppose, is it the grandfather of them all?
Well,
probably
Sprint
others.
one.
Sprint, something like that.
Our
Sprint,
old
Super
arcade
Sprint.
one, wasn't there?
Yeah, exactly. So there's that
one.
Yeah, and the top-down racing, and then of course you've got the side spin-offs, haven't you? The BMX simulators, the jet ski simulators, and the variations of that. So
Run the
there was a
Gauntlet.
lot of those. Run the Gauntlet. So a whole bunch of those, loads of them actually. So this is kind of another one of those. Now, good thing is here is it's budget price, isn't it? So it's not as expensive as those used to be back in the day. But some of those are probably out in budget. So how is it going to fare against some of those? Well, things get off to a good start. Good loading screen, I thought, for this. Well done, Ash. It looks pretty cool. Quite neat little graphics in their own kind of style. I quite liked it. Good loading music too, and music generally throughout the game. It's not exactly classic Formula One soundtrack that you might go for, but it's okay. And in the usual sort of methodology of these things, it's not so bad that you want to scream. It's not amazing so that you're going to put it in the Hall of Fame, but it ain't that bad. It's all right. Does the job. So there's some good options here too, of course, when you get to the title screen, of course. So you've got, like I said, you can compete in a Grand Prix. You can do it for a practice. Why wouldn't you want to do that? You can check out the lap records. You can enter your name in here, and then you can select some kind of play stats that go along with that. And then you can either choose your two-player racing option where you go head-to-head in that confrontational, challenging way that I can't possibly do because there's only me playing these. I'm afraid it's only me. But like I said, things get off to a good start for this. All those options are pretty good. Fancy a Grand Prix? I don't know. Maybe you do, but you actually get to play one as well. This isn't one of those games where you play and then you get knocked out and it's the end of the game. If you go into the Grand Prix, you qualify. I think if you don't qualify, you'd have to, if you have crashed your car, I'm not sure. I think you just get placed last in the Grand Prix race.
That's right.
So you can still participate even if you're crap, which is good for me because I was. And so, that was quite good. And then, of course, you got the 1 or 2 player option, like I said. Now, some nice personalization is needed in something like that. So you can add your own name in there. And that does give it a little bit of an edge over sort of anonymous player 1 playing anonymous player 2, doesn't it? Quite nice to be able to do that. Things get off to, like I said, all's good at this point. If you choose Grand Prix, you've got to qualify. Like I said, don't crash though, because that means you just get last place. But in the sort of the view is kind of typical for this kind of thing. So when you get through to this part, I don't know. I thought the graphics for this were a little bit further, a bit higher, because obviously this is all orthographic, so you're seeing it from the sky downwards. This is from quite a high position, actually. This is kind of like the blimp camera. The cars are quite microscopic on this, but not so tiny. Not as tiny as the little thumbnail ones, but they do look like race cars, and they do look like race cars, which is good. But it's, I suppose, typical of this kind of thing. I thought the graphics around the track and around the sides also looked pretty good. It looked like a racetrack that you were on, and they are actual racetracks that they've mirrored here as well. The bottom fifth of the screen, I would say, is probably the UI. Best description, really. It's got a race car at the bottom, and that is described in the display. So at the bottom right of the screen, you've got your current speed. Bottom middle is where you see the number of laps driven already and the number of laps remaining. Bottom left of your screen, here you see your current lap time and your best lap time and your current circuit below it. The rest of the screen, like I said, that's your game that's going on. So you've got a good view of what's going on. Now, I'll come to a little bit of something that surprised me about this, but I don't know, and I don't know whether you need it really, but there is no map when you're playing the game as such for this. But I think you're that high up, you're almost looking at it from map view, but I don't know. I don't know if you really needed that. So, like I said, the tracks here are real tracks, which is quite nice. And you've got this UI, and then the top half of the game, that's where all the tracks take place. Now, it's a top-down view, so you race around the track, and the scroll kind of follows the track around and follows your car around, which is quite nice. You control that with the joystick in the kind of rotation system that we've seen with these kind of games many, many times. So right is rotate right, left is rotate right. Fire here is to accelerate. And if you take your finger off the fire button, it decelerates or slows down. So that's how you brake, essentially.
Yeah.
Like I said, all tracks are versions of the real tracks. Quite the elevated position, but it kind of works. The car controls well, I thought, even though it's kind of got a skiddy, floaty nature. But I think that's the style of these games. I think that's the style. If it didn't have that, if it had super grip on every track, then you wouldn't. You just be able to do it really easily. So I think that adds a dynamic. That's the way that they've tried to increase the difficulties by just making the cars a little bit. You've got to use your brakes, and you've got to just think about how you control them. It's no bad thing, unless you're me. I haven't got the patience for that kind of thing. So I just like to scream around the track and hit things. But there you go. That's just me. But it does have that kind of skiddy, floaty nature when you go around the corner. So you've got to take that into account. There's a little bit of strategy needed. You can't just race around the track and think you're going to get away with it. The track bends and the chicanes and all that, they're all here and accurate to the presentation. So when you start the game, you'll see the track that you're going to race on. Obviously, it's either Monte Carlo or whatever the track you happen to be on. You'll see the map view, so give you the kind of layout. So you take a mental picture of where the bends and things are going to be. And then obviously you're then playing on the game. You're in the starting position and then everything starts to scroll. Now, there's no bugs in any of this. This scrolls around seamlessly. And the car controls really nicely around that as well. It's quite responsive to your controls. Now, I know I said that it was kind of floaty in nature, but that's the nature of the way that the physics is on the car in this game. And that's not necessarily, not that you can't control it, because you can, because the brakes are really quick. If you speed up or slow down, it's fast to respond. You just got to make sure you time it right, so you don't sort of just, because if you judge it just too wrong and accelerate just coming out of a bend too much, then the car's going to be a little bit out of control. And I quite liked it for that, actually. As much as it makes it challenging, I think it needed to be made challenging in that way. It doesn't have that map view, though, which sometimes these games do, and I don't know if I missed it or not. I think it would have been a challenge to place it on a game that has that elevated view, and you do see a map of the track beforehand, but my memory's crap. So, I was thinking, so every track was a new bend for me, even if I'd been around the track a couple of times. But you do, obviously, once you do get into the Grand Prix and you're going around and doing laps, you're going to start to get familiar, and then you're going to start to want to try and do better for each lap. So, and that leads me to, after you've qualified, you go into the race itself, and there's, I think, 7 cars and you, I think.
6.
6. So there's 6 other cars and you in there. You're one of the 6. And you can then, obviously, you're then racing against them. That's quite nice. And obviously, then it's all about race positioning. And like I said, you've got to get positioned to get the points and win the car, steal the car off the winner if you really want to do that. I'm not sure that's how it works, like you said, but there you go. So that's kind of how the game plays. Obviously, if you complete the track, if you get placed, you get placed. But then in the next one, it's not like you get booted out. So it's not like you're on some kind of crap timer, or if you crash your car or anything. If you do crash it during the race, it's out of the race. But you'll go to the next Grand Prix. Then you can qualify in your practice lap, and then you'll be placed again and you get to race. So you can continue the journey of the Grand Prix if that's what you want to do. I just recommend practicing a bit, where you get to just try and challenge your own times and stuff like that and get used to so the best thing to do with this game is avoid skidding off the track and crashing, really, which is probably a good rule of thumb for most Formula One, I think. Don't hit other vehicles, I thought was a good bit of advice as well. Try to maintain yourself throughout the race. Failure to do so will see you crash out, and that's never a good thing if you do that. You don't want to win much by doing that. You don't want to get a good reputation, are you? And I think the difficulty is twofold, really. Controlling the car on the bends and etc., and not hitting other vehicles. That's quite challenging. You've got to really strategize around that. There's no pit stops or anything like that in this game, or anything like that. Although you can, I think there is some kind of point system for cars and stuff like that. I never got that far into it to win another car. I never won anything. But that leads me to my sort of second part of the difficulty. And that is probably, I don't know whether I'd describe it as an annoying tendency where other cars in the race are a bit infallible, I felt. So if you make a mistake or you're not generally that good, you're going to have a hard time sort of getting back to any kind of position. I found that I was quickly being lapped as I was trying to drive around, and I thought I was driving pretty fast, but clearly not. So there you go. And also, I suppose, even though there's music obviously in the game, you know what's going to happen when you play this game. When you get into the race, it's going to be that kind of game drone, engine drone sound effect. I don't know. I found this one a bit more annoying than most for some reason. I think it was just a bit sort of bitonal. I don't know what it was. It just sounded a bit weird. It's all right, but I found it a little bit shrill and a bit much after a while. I wonder if it could have done with something else. But it wasn't like just a me thing. And I carried on playing it regardless. So what you've got then, after all said and done, is a well-presented game here. Decent graphics and controls. A competent version of Super Sprint, really. Probably better than any of those versions we've seen of the actual arcade that we've got, albeit that you've only got 2 players instead of 3 players here. And it's all for budget money, isn't it? Which makes it actually pretty good value for what you've got, what you actually get here. Like I said, 2 players simultaneous is a nice touch. The tracks are all very well realised here. They all look the part. The decal around them is really good. The colours are really nice. The cars and everything look the part, even though they're microscopic, they kind of work. They're quite well animated and the way that they move is nice. The scrolling is really smooth. No issues with any of that. This is a well put together game. Really, really good. Your enjoyment may be limited by how much you can put up with these kind of race games, because if you don't like this kind of view, obviously then you're not going to like it. But I think this is more than a competitor for any of the others that we've seen in this particular field, even from some of the Codemasters ones, and easily one of the top few of these top-down races I think we've come across over the time of the podcast, which is nice considering it's probably one of the last few games of Ash and Dave's. I don't think it's the last one, but it's certainly one of the last ones. Like I said, I quite liked this game for what it was. It felt, for $3.99, I could get in, race, get on with it. I could get better. I could strategize. I could try and do better. It's so impossible that it drove me crazy. And all for under £4. That isn't bad, is it? As a sort of one of the final notes from Ash and Dave, this has got the polish and gameplay written all over it. We've said this about Ash and Dave games. They have a good spit and polish to their products. And I think that's the one thing I'll always say about them, is that they, even if the games have been a little bit lacking in the design department, they've put the polish on there. They've just made sure it's a slick experience. And not every one of their games has been amazing, but I would say that their attention to detail and the way that they put their games together is very professional. And in terms of a code base and everything else, you'd be hard pushed to find a better one of these. For $3.99 in the latter stage of the C64's life, you've got a good game on your hands here, which is nice, isn't it? A nice hurrah for these top-down games, which have been on and off, I think it's safe to say. So I enjoyed it. I thought this was good. A good top-down racer, one that plays better than most of the others for budget money. What's not to like about that? I thought it was good. What about you?
Yeah. I thought it's an interesting take on the sort of Super Sprint style racer, this. And was it Hot Rod? Which I think was also
Hot
them.
Rod, another one, yeah. There was bunches of them when I looked on Lemon.
Yeah,
there was loads
Hot Rod
of them.
was them as well, wasn't it? That was Ash and Dave as well, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. Hot Rod,
I think this is probably, Hot Rod. So I think this is kind of an evolution of Hot Rod, because it's the same kind of scrolling thing. But I think it's better than Hot Rod. We had problems with that. I think this is probably the best one we've seen on the machine, all said.
Yeah,
I think this is really good. It's only got 6 tracks. Then again, so did Pit Stop 2. Didn't stop that being brilliant, did it?
Nope.
But there's a decent level of challenge here. And it doesn't seem too overwhelming. There's some issues, but I'll get to them. Winning the Grand Prix will take a good level of skill, but after playing this for a while, I could feel myself getting better at it and starting to learn the tracks, which are all, that's part and parcel of this kind of thing. The tracks are quite short, so a map, I didn't really need a map. You see the map at the beginning, but I can see why you might want one, but I think because it's quite fast and quick and you're into the next corner ready before coming up, being able to check a map would be, and this isn't like actually driving around Monaco straight for several minutes. This is over in a few seconds, mostly, but it's what it is. I like the challenge side of things. I actually thought that was a really good idea. I like being able to challenge other racers in order to nick their car afterwards. I think that's a really interesting way. And obviously that is the way you have to do this, because I don't know if you noticed, but the reason you were getting lapped is because you start off in a crap car and you need to win. You need to win the other cars, and they're better cars. So the McLaren, which is the best one, will always just be, you'll never catch it because you're about 30 miles per hour less. Yeah. So I really like that idea as a sort of a kind of, you're not going to win this without beating the player in front of you. And it's kind of, you've only got to beat the one in front. You're not kind of racing to get to the front right straight away. You kind of just get one of sort of couple of sort of places in front, which is good.
Yeah, different.
And of course, what that does is, because I did win a few challenges and got better cars, what that means is you have a faster car. So when you get a faster car, it takes more skill to keep it on the road. So the challenge gets higher as you get a faster car, which is, again, a good kind of, a good sort of curve for the sort of enjoyment of this. Yeah, it keeps you going because you like your skill level is being more challenged, that flow state and everything like that. So it's good. Of course, yeah. So you do that. If you want the Grand Prix, that you got to get that McLaren. You have to get the McLaren. That's true. That's a tricky thing to do. Negatives, though, I'm not sure I'm a fan of the one crash and you're out, though.
Yeah, well, you sort of do get away with a few skirmishes and skids.
You get a few bits, but if you hit something and smash up and that's your car.
Well, that is what happens in Formula One, though.
I understand that, but it feels, because it feels arcadey, it doesn't feel like a sim. It just felt like, and what I would have thought was what they could have had was maybe an easy and a hard mode. So an easy mode where you get respawned back on the track, and a hard mode where you don't. And that would have been a simple sort of fix. So you could have played the easy mode, and it's like you can, get maybe 2 or 3 crashes and then you're out, or a hard mode which is like 1 crash, 1 smash, you're out. Because it's like when I first started playing this, I almost turned it off because I just kept crashing, and I was like, oh, God, this is ridiculous. And I was almost at the point of going, I sod this. But because qualifying practice races was over in seconds, I was like, this isn't fun. But I persevered. Once I got the hang of the handling a bit, I did have a good time with this. It is still, and maybe that, that idea of 1 crash and you're out is a kind of like, it's a threat all the way through. So that's kind of, you're always at the mercy of that. You might be doing brilliantly, but screw a corner up, go into the barrels, you're out. Done, job done, no matter where you are. Yeah. That's quite, that does lend a sense of risk to this, I suppose, like Formula One, but I'm not sure if it's fully at odds with the arcade styling of it. There was also, I don't know, I also did experience a bit jerky scrolling at times as well. It seemed to slow down in an occasion, and my lap time suffered because they were clearly slower than my qualifying lap time. So I don't know what that was about. So I don't know. And maybe because you start off, don't you, in Phoenix and then Monaco, 2 tight street races. Yeah, I'm not quite sure they're the best 2 to start with because they're really, really twisty, turny. Like I think that was what was putting me off, because it's like, I found the later races much easier because they're a bit wider and longer bends and stuff. But I don't know, maybe it's because you expect to have a faster car later on. I don't know, it's balanced. But anyway, it's a good game. It looks great as well. It, a little scrolling issues that I had aside sort of thing. The backgrounds are really good. The cars are animated well. It moves at a good clip. The sound actually I didn't mind too much. I didn't find it too ear grating. But I can see some more. But I thought this was a good game, a really good budget title with a lot going to it and some really nice sort of mechanics within it. And that challenge mode thing, I think, really lifts it up. I'd like to play the 2-player mode because it does sound quite interesting. Because you both start off with 5 points, and you have to race to sort of knock the other one back off the screen. And when they sort of drop off the screen, they lose a point and you gain one. And it's like back and forth as you're trying to sort of, it's like first 10. That sounds quite interesting. That does sound quite good. So a good package, this, £4. I think you've got this. You'd be quite happy with it. So yeah, good stuff. I think it deserves probably that score. Maybe even, if I had to say so, a little higher, I think. Yeah.
Now, question I've got here was I right in thinking this was released on one of the demo cassettes for one of the magazines prior to the release of it?
I think there was a demo of it on, I don't think it was on Zapped, but it might have been on Commodore format.
Because I imagine that with the demo of this, you'd be playing you could probably get quite a good experience from that demo and never actually buy the game, because there's not much more to it than that, really.
No, I mean, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I obviously at the time, I imagine quite a few people did have quite a good time on this, on the demo version of it.
I think it probably sold a few copies. Now, the other thing is, did you accelerate for long enough to get your speed increased by the 1 mile an hour? Did you get that?
I did.
Because no, I noticed I was doing it, but I didn't know why until I noticed it in the hints and tips. So it says here, if you manage to accelerate for long enough time for 3/4 of 1 lap without any interruptions, the top speed of your current car will increase by 1 mile per hour. Next time it will again increase by 1 mile per hour, and so on. Warning, this only works if you never release the fire button, never hit any obstacles or any other cars. Yeah, that was me done on all 3 counts. So,
but it is tricky getting around it's tricky getting around the corners at full pelt. You've already got to nail them, sort of take them at the right angle.
Well,
and
some of them would be impossible because if you go into
the Monaco, that's what I mean. The Monaco and the Phoenix ones.
You're not going to do that.
They were tricky. But
good old game. Not bad.
Yeah, it is. Where else do you race as well? There's USA, Brazil, Britain, France, Italy, and Monaco. But yeah, like I said, 6 tracks didn't hurt. Pit stop 2.
No, it didn't. It did not.
So there you go. Good game, Slicks. There you go. That's the first part of this podcast done. That's it. That's the one game this week. That's our first one. We're going to go away, take a break. We'll come back. We have TV and film to go through. So please do stick with us. Slick with us even.
Slick with us. Very good. Very good.
The novel Escape from the Commodore 64 by David Hearn is out now. Crash landing on a green planet full of vector graphics, can Sarah find a way to escape for real? Or is she stranded on a planet full of sun, sea and chippy tea forever? Imagine finding yourself in a cinematic karate game, having to rescue a princess or remain stuck under the run-stop key forever. What about finding yourself on a space freighter full of robots? Could you clear the decks? If you were transported back to a Wild West town, having to round up outlaws, could you survive until sunset? What if you were a wizard with a cat who must colour worlds? Could you beat the game, or would a virtual guitar solo announce your demise? Sarah might just be another visitor, but she doesn't want to stay a while, never mind forever. Available from Amazon and all good online retailers, discover if there's a way out in Escape from the Commodore 64. Visit davidhearnwriter.com to find out more.
And we're back. What was going on in the world of TV in October 1992 in the UK? Well, Graham.
Aye.
First of October, Sky Movies Gold, a channel dedicated to classic movies, goes on the air. It replaces the Comedy Channel, which is not a like-for-like replacement at all.
Oh, that's a bit weird, but the Comedy Channel still exists because Sky Movies Gold is gone now, isn't it? That's weird how things change.
I know. People want their comedy. They don't want the... It's just, well, Sky Movies is just a hodgepodge of genre channels now, isn't it?
Yeah, but occasionally you'll get they'll do like Sky Movies Bond, where you just get Bond movies back to back, and they did it for Harry Potter and stuff like that. Guessing it depends who's footed the advertising bill, but I didn't have Sky TV. I didn't have Sky TV till I was old enough to pay for it myself. Didn't have it, certainly didn't have it back then. And I knew a few people that did. We've said it many times over the life of the podcast. We knew people that had dishes on the side of their houses, and you had to have it then. And who paid extortionate amounts. And they recorded everything to VHS, which was great for us because we were freeloading. Skyviz, he didn't want to pay for it. It worked out for us just right. It was a good treat, wasn't it?
It did, because that's how we got to see The Simpsons every week, wasn't it?
Yeah, The Simpsons and many other things that we would not have had.
Remember our mate used to bring the tape round, didn't he, on a Sunday night usually. Yeah,
he used to bring the video tape around with that on. He'd record, because he recorded everything, didn't he? He had two video recorders in the bedroom, so we could literally record everything, including videos that he'd already, let's just say he was a bit of a video pirate back then.
He very was much so. 3rd of October, comedian and presenter Leslie Crowther sustains serious head injuries after his Rolls-Royce veers out of control and crashes on the M5 near Cheltenham. He subsequently undergoes surgery to remove a blood clot on his brain.
Crikey, that's harsh. Poor Leslie Crowther.
Yeah, he basically gave up. Yeah, he gave up television after this. Pretty much, he couldn't do it anymore.
No.
Reading the details of it sounds bloody horrible. He was in a coma for 17 days.
Yeah, that's not good. And being in a coma is not a good thing, actually.
No, it's not.
It technically is a good thing if it's keeping you alive, which, one of the things that often gets lost in the mists of descriptions is the word coma. And when people say they're being put on a respirator, it's the same thing. Being put into an artificial coma is essentially what they did to a lot of people during COVID. Strangely enough. So they were basically putting people in comas, and it's sometimes a way of keeping you alive. But for him, obviously, he was catastrophically injured, which is terrible, really. I think the similar thing, not exactly the same, but the similar thing happened to that guy from Hello Hello, didn't it? He got,
Renee.
Well, that wasn't his name. He was in Hello Hello. Was it Gordon Kay?
No, it's Renee. I don't know him as anything else.
No,
it's Renee. Renee.
Renee. It wasn't just Renee, it was Renee. But he was hit by a tree or something, I think, in the storm. I can't remember the details, but similar injuries, I think.
Yeah.
Always a tragedy. I was never really... I didn't know a lot about Leslie Crowther. I remember being in the news at the time, and I remember he was on The Price is Right, wasn't he, and things like that. So much more
it was game show. It was funny, pretty much.
Yeah.
One of the same sort of stuff that happened to, I don't think it was quite as bad, but Richard Hammond and Freddie Flintoff and Top Gear and stuff. They've had car crashes, haven't they? Yeah,
they had they were on a track, weren't they, in both instances, and Freddie Flintoff's is especially horrible. He was in that 3-wheel car that overturned, and it just, it did catastrophic damage to him. I mean, he's thankfully he's okay and well on the road to recovery, at least physically, but, he's clearly been quite badly scarred by that horrific injury. So good luck, Frank. I mean, good luck, people. You did all right. Yeah.
We're all counting on you. Was that an airplane gag just then?
No, good luck, Frank is from it's RoboCop, isn't it? Good luck, Frank.
Oh, right. Yes. I remember now. Yeah. We're all rooting for you. 5th of October, one for you. Star Trek: The Next Generation makes its UK debut on Sky One. The series is initially scheduled to be shown 5 nights a week from Monday to Friday at 5 p.m, as well as going all the way up to the penultimate episode of the 6th season on 16th of August the following year. But prior to that, the first run rights in the UK have been on BBC Two to broadcast every episode from Encounter at Farpoint, the first episode, to The Best of Both Worlds, a 2-part special, with the exception of a banned episode, which is not shown until 2007.
Hey.
I need Geordie LaForge to explain this to me or Data or something, because I don't understand what was going on there. Do you know what happened?
Yeah, it was classic. It was classic Sky TV doing what they did at the time. They did the same thing to Friends. So BBC were happily showing Star Trek: The Next Generation, and they were showing it on BBC Two. They'd actually, previous to that, they'd shown the full series of Star Trek, and so then it was a big thing to show Star Trek: Next Generation. It hadn't been shown in the UK before. Everyone was quite excited about it. I was really excited to watch them all. And it was nice that it was on BBC Two. That had a continuity. I remember watching Star Trek, the original series, way back when I was a kid on BBC. So it was always kind of its home for me. Mm-hmm. And Sky came along and just like, now we're having that. And that was it. They just took it. So BBC showed all the way up to the best of both worlds, which for those that don't know their Star Trek Next Generation, that's the famous Borg episode with Locutus of Borg and Picard gets captured, and a really, really super cool episode of Star Trek.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I know that one.
So they've shown it from the beginning all the way up to that amazing episode. And that was it. It was like, sorry, we can't show it anymore. It's on Sky. And you're like, what? So you felt completely gypped, because the only way you could either see it then was to sell through video, which then, of course, they started releasing them. I think it was 2 episodes at a time on tapes, and they were being released regularly. So in the UK, you were really stuffed. You either paid a subscription fee to Sky to watch them. And by the way, they went back to Encounter at Farpoint on Sky. And even though they were showing them every day, so for those people that had been following it all the way up to Best of Both Worlds, like me, you went all the way back to that. You either went to Sky and back to the beginning again to watch all those fucking episodes again, which is fine, but I didn't really want to do that. I was on, the Best of Both Worlds. Thankfully, the BBC showed both episodes. It's a 2-parter. But it was such good pinnacle Star Trek Next Generation. It had built up to the appearance of the Borg. The Borg had been shown previously in an episode with a Q, an episode where he takes the Enterprise and shoots it through time and space, so they can encounter the Borg. So he wants them to encounter something they're going to be hopeless against, to see how they think and what they're going to do, and to sort of show that humanity is ultimately weak against the things they can't possibly be prepared for, because he was a bit sick of Picard's cockiness. Then this was the first time they actually encountered the Borg for reals, is when the Borg finally figured out where that ship had come from, which was a really, really cool thing that you find out later. All of that was just disappeared off British TV unless you had Sky, or you were going to watch the cassettes that you could purchase, and even they only came out every once a month maybe. So I just felt a bit ripped off by that. And they did exactly the same thing to Friends. Friends, if you remember, was on Channel 4. Everyone was enjoying Friends on Channel 4. Yeah, it was great. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, click, it was off. Sky got it. They bid for it, won it, and so that was it, gone. And if you wanted to watch the episodes in the UK, you either subscribed to Sky or you paid for them on VHS. That was it. And believe you me, people paid, because I would say probably 2 or 3 of the most popular sell-through releases in the history of the time when I was at Blockbuster: Star Trek Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Friends, by a country mile. There were people queuing around the block for some of those episodes, because people had got really into it. I was one of them. I never bothered buying any of those, though, because handily enough, I knew a guy that had 2 video recorders in his bedroom. And he happened to work at a video shop. So,
my God, that basically, you've just done a Billy Connolly joke or an Eddie Izzard joke or something like that, where you started it like about 10 minutes ago, and here's the punchline in a completely unrelated thing. Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you. I like to think that my mad rambling went somewhere. But yeah, and of course, I am a big advocate of Star Trek Next Generation anyway, and I've watched all of them. I've watched all of those, every episode of that, Deep Space Nine, or Deep Shit Nine as I like to call it, all of those. Voyager, I watched all. It's a series I've enjoyed on and off throughout the years. But some of those really good episodes.
You don't like Deep Space Nine?
Yeah, we just used to call it Deep Shit Nine, because they were always in deep shit.
Yeah, because my partner, she loves Deep Space Nine. That's her favourite one.
It's brilliant. Yeah, Deep Space Nine, and then
when the Jem'Hadar turn up.
Exactly, and the Vorta and the Jem'Hadar. They're great.
Well, it's thinking, isn't it? The guy who did Deep Space Nine would go on to do Battlestar Galactica, wouldn't he?
And it shows, so. And they're all, all of those great TV, but you were kind of starved for them if you didn't have Sky TV in the UK, which was the big rip-off, wasn't it? But that kind of point I'm making is that Sky did that a lot, though, back then.
Ronald D. Moore, wasn't it?
Yeah, because remember, then Sky started getting exclusive rights to the movies then, so that the movies that would have traditionally been on terrestrial TV were then not allowed to be on terrestrial TV, because they were then shown on Sky first, and so it meant you might not see a movie on there for another year and a half.
Yeah, true. There we go. I enjoyed that. That was good.
Yeah, I'm pleased.
Nice story. Yeah. 14th of October, the network television premiere of John McTiernan's 1988 action thriller Die Hard on ITV, starring Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, Bonnie Bedelia, Reginald Johnson, and Paul Gleason. I presume that's the cop. I mean, it's great. We talked about Die Hard when it came out, didn't we? So we've waxed lyrical about that. But 14th of October is an odd date for it to be shown. Like a big film like Die Hard, stick it on 14th of October.
It makes you
two months
wonder.
away from Christmas.
Yeah, it makes you wonder why they wouldn't have put it on. I don't know. This was famously the cut one. So this was famously the Yippee Kimasabi one.
Oh, yes, it would have been, yeah.
And all of that. So this was famously the one where they put really silly dubbed out versions of the swearing on it and all of that and cut out all these parts where it's actually quite violent. That was all cut from this. But it actually worked out. I think it's 7.5 minutes shorter than the actual thingy one.
Maybe they thought it was too violent for a Christmas film. But you put this on
6 o'clock.
Yeah, okay.
No, it wasn't. But it was odd to put on at this time, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's not a Christmas movie necessarily. Maybe it is, I don't know.
But it is set at Christmas. I mean, some people create it as a Christmas film. I particularly do. I like to watch it at Christmas because it's set at Christmas. But it just seems odd to put on at the 14th of October. It's such a big film that, I don't know. Yeah. My question is, though, I mean, it was a big film because we had the sequel. It was not sort of one that became a cult hit. No. It was massive from the get-go.
Yeah, huge.
I don't know. I don't get it. Why not wait? Anyway, 20th of October, Channel 4 is Burning Books on Sex, a programme reviewing Madonna's book, Sex, which is published the following day. On the following day, the channel airs Ross Meets Madonna, in which Jonathan Ross talks to the singer. We mentioned that bit last week, didn't we, when we were talking about the single?
We did.
I don't know, sauciness, very little. I thought, was there probably quite a lot of Mary Whitehouse baiting in this? I don't know. With Channel 4 being a bit
at
provocative.
the time, the book received mixed reviews at the time. Then it kind of latterly was kind of looked at in a different, as these things do over time. People look at these books with a new lens, and maybe she was expressing herself and she should be allowed to do that. And it was very empowering, and it went through the whole gamut of emotions. So it went from hate, people thinking, no, this book of lies and filth, all the way through to
Nobody's going to laugh at that apart from me.
They're just especially for you. All the way through to
Can't believe I still remember that stupid lie.
This book's great. Madonna was doing a really good thing. Maybe she was. I don't know. It was just like we said last time when we talked about it. It was an exploration for Madonna into a new phase, a new character. Some people thought it was great. Some people didn't. The controversy certainly of that book certainly overtook and actually damaged the sales of the record ultimately, rather than, and then full circle kind of latterly, people don't give a shit and they probably think it's quite good. So,
probably. 24th of October, the fictional character Mr. Blobby makes his debut on the Gotcha segment of Noel's House Party on BBC One. I never liked him. I just never saw the appeal, and I didn't like Mr. Blobby either.
No, but no, I agree with you. I never liked Noel's House Party particularly. It didn't appeal to me, and the kiddie kind of humour in it. And Gunge Tanks and the Gotcha segment just used to wind me up because it was Beatles About, wasn't it? Really, it was just another Beatles About. He'd already done it. Beatle had done this years ago. It
was just a sort of more palatable Tiswas and stuff like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, completely.
It was just repackaged. I mean, we still get it now, don't we? With Michael McIntyre's Big Night Out, or Big Night In, or whatever it's called.
Safe entertainment. Anti-BBC, safe
Ant and
entertainment.
Dec have been doing this for the past 20 years, haven't they?
Exactly, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's safe Saturday night entertainment. When I was a kid, if I was a kid, we'd have been sat watching the Generation Game together as a family because you kind of did that, and that didn't have Mr. Blobby in it, but it had silly sketches. It's just safe family fun that your whole family can sit and watch. The BBC had a remit for that, but this sort of took it a little bit further down, a lot more audience participation, not quite. Don't forget your toothbrush kind of cheekiness, but lots of fourth wall, talking to the camera, going into people's houses and the sort of the sneaky camera things that they used to know, all that sort of stuff. And then they introduced Mr. Blobby, which for me was just kind of a big fat blobby version of Emu that just kind of went around, stumbled around and just pissed people off and got in the way. And everyone was like, oh, Mr. Blobby, here he comes, Blobby, bring Blobby in, Blobby, it's hilarious, hey, it's hilarious. I'm like, I don't get the joke. I don't get it. Clearly, this guy's been. I think that guy was sewn into that so he could never get out, and his voice had been permanently changed. Like that movie where he stitches those three people together, face to ass. That guy had been stitched into that suit, and his voice box had been changed. So the only word he could say was Blobby, and they were cries for help.
Yeah, but you see, I think it's more like that film Clown.
Yeah, it could be.
He put the Blobby suit on and then he couldn't get it off again.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, maybe there's just, it's like...
That's a great horror film, that is, by the way. I like Clown.
Well, if you think so. I'll take your word for it.
You don't like it?
I don't really like anything like that, if I'm honest. It's just cheesy shite. But
I like Clown.
But back to Mr. Blobby. my feeling was that kids kind of digged it, didn't they? And he had a song out and everything, which was produced by Simon Cowell. So, Blobby, Mr. Blobby. And people liked it. I think it's the safe TV mascot, wasn't it? Because they couldn't use that bear that had one eye, could they? Because that was Pudsey, wasn't it? And Pudsey couldn't get too involved in stuff. No. He was a charity mascot, so they had to have some kind of. And they also, can you imagine? He's the foil for Noel Edmonds. I mean, goodness me, is that how Noel Edmonds, his character, is that stoic that they needed a giant inflatable blobby person to make him seem funnier? Ooh. It sends a shiver down my spine, all that. Although apparently he's quite a nice person. So, Blobby.
Well, they used to have Keith Chegwin on Swap Shop, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I suppose he was Mr. Blobby of his own. He wasn't DOS spotted, was he? But I don't know. And he sort of reappears now and again, doesn't he? Every now and again, on any TV show in the BBC, Blobby would appear. He's like fair game. So it'd be a chat show, and then it'd be like Blobby, and everyone would be like, "Hey, it's Blobby,
hey, it's Blobby."
Yeah, and then then when they trapped him in the safe with no air, that wasn't the funniest episode of Noel's house party, as I recall.
Hey, look, Blobby's gasping, Blobby.
Yeah, exactly, and ding dong and the doorbell, and I don't know. It was a thing, wasn't it? But not my thing.
Yeah, no, we've talked too long about Mr. Blobby. I can't be doing it anymore. 31st of October, Halloween. BBC One's controversial one-off drama Ghost Watch is broadcast.
Aye.
Starring Michael Parkinson and Sarah Green. The pseudo-documentary drama sees a BBC crew's live investigation into a haunted North London house. The programme receives a record number of complaints, and tabloid newspapers run extensive coverage following the suicide of one disturbed viewer. Is that true?
Yeah. Well, it's not. The suicide is true. Now, whether it's attributable to the TV show is open to the debate, of course.
So, yeah, Ghostwatch is one of those kind of things, isn't it, where you can't actually it's essentially the TV version of, it's the Enfield Poltergeist, based on the Enfield Poltergeist, but it's kind of a TV version of Orson Welles' War of the Worlds from 14
the original radio broadcast. Yeah, that's kind of idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's this thing where you're supposed to be doing this mockumentary, but you don't tell anyone, and people take it for real. And so this, I mean, you said you watched it recently. I watched it for ages.
I did. So thankfully, this was re-released on, I think, BBC DVD Blu-ray, and I think it might even be on iPlayer now. So this was a little bit hidden away for a number of reasons. It did cause a lot of controversy. Now, and at this point in time, if you listen really carefully, you can hear Gary shouting at us from wherever he is, because Gary loves this, absolutely loves Ghostwatch, and I get it. If you look at it in the context of its time, it was quite unique in a lot of ways. I think what the BBC did here was lean into something, because they used really serious people in it. Yeah. So you've got Michael Parkinson, and it was Sarah Green
and Mike Reid.
Mike Reid. So these were stalwarts of BBC, trusted BBC.
Wasn't Craig Charles in on it?
Craig Charles is there as well. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So you had some real stalwarts of BBC who were all in on what they were doing, but they didn't let anyone in the audience know, including the TV audience that was actually there when they filmed it as well. So everything that was in this came as a surprise to them and a surprise to the audience. And they played it for real. They played it as like it was a live, and this kind of live telethon type approach to the broadcast was very much in the BBC's oeuvre. So when the BBC did that sort of stuff, they didn't do it for shits and giggles or for, they didn't do stuff like this. So people took it really seriously. And because this was an investigation into the paranormal, which is always going to pique interest immediately, and the way they filmed it and the kind of way that the BBC, so they sent like a news crew footage with a person going to speak to people, and then strange things happen in the background, and they kept rewatching footage in almost a found footage kind of methodology. This was pioneering TV. Nothing else had ever been done like this in the history of the BBC. Not really. Not in this way.
Not really, no.
And I think it actually, scared them, and I think they didn't realize how powerful a medium and how powerful an organization the BBC was in terms of its brand for being serious about things. Because
believable, obviously, you believe what they said,
and that's the problem. Is that not a problem? That's what one of its great strengths is, but a problem for the viewing audience at the time is that they just believed it. People were really scared and terrified, and it ends in a really unusual way. Now, I won't spoil it, because I think people should go and find Ghostwatch and rewatch it, because I think it deserves it. And I'll prepare you by saying this. Now, I rewatched it, and some of it's dated a little bit. There's no doubt about that. Some of the acting performances are what they are. It was filmed when it was filmed and made when it was made. That's okay. But try and put your mind into the mindset of a TV audience that were going to watch a live broadcast and didn't know that any of this wasn't pre-recorded. They thought it was live. Then imagine that you're with somebody trusted like Parkinson, who'd been on the BBC for 20 plus years at this point as a stalwart of TV and very serious. And when he was talking to the different people, the paranormal investigators that were on the show, There's nothing to think that he was interviewing anyone other than a genuine person, and the story was quite compelling. Now, some of it works and some of it doesn't when you look at it from a modern lens, but the influence this has had on TV shows is extraordinary when you think about it. And even films. I mean, it wasn't that long ago there was a film fairly recently which is principally the same idea, where there's a game...
Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah, so there's Late Night with the Devil, which is essentially the same story, albeit that it takes a bit of a different twist, but it's similar. Like you said, the Enfield stuff that's in there, but also the Most Haunted TV show where you had Derek Acorah and all those.
Yeah, all those paranormal ghost hunter shows.
Yeah, but that also then, there was a lot of American shows. Nothing like this had been done anywhere. So this was the first of its kind. There's been nothing like this in the US, apart from when they did the Orson Welles sort of broadcast for War of the Worlds. And that caused controversy at the time because it interrupted the broadcast. It interrupted the news. Famously, we interrupt this news broadcast, and people believed
people were
it.
terrified and stuff, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely, because they thought they were being invaded. Now, again, without going on and on about it, it is of its time. I would strongly recommend people watch it. I don't know that it's going to scare you necessarily because people are so robust these days.
And also, if you know skeptical. It's fake, you're not going to... I think its power lay in the fact that people took it at face value. That was the power of this show.
And I think if you can suspend your disbelief a little bit and just go with that and just try and put yourself in the mindset of a family that would be watching this, because it was, they basically pitched this at families to watch, watch this fun investigation into this paranormal stuff. Once and for all, we're going to answer these questions. And that was really prescient on the mind of a lot of people around that time. And it's Halloween, of course. Then everything goes wrong and there's strange stuff and all sorts of crazy stuff happens. And it ends really, really dark, actually.
Yeah,
it's very, very influential and definitely worth a rewatch. My only caveat is that now we're with a modern lens, and now it's not going to have the same impact. But trust me, at the time it did, and I think that's still there's still power in some of the visuals, some of the snap cutting, and some of the double takes that are with the cameras and the handheld camera and all of that stuff that's in it. It just set it apart from anything else. I don't think there's ever been anything quite like it since. So it's really good.
And the interesting thing is, obviously from the Wikipedia, it says the programme is yet to be repeated in full on any UK-based television channel following its initial broadcast. Never been shown again.
No, it's up there. You know what? The volume of complaints this got puts it in the same league as the Brass Eye special. And things like that, and the Jerry Springer musical and stuff like that. It's thousands and thousands of people complained about it. Though crazy.
Yeah. After that, if you weren't traumatized enough, you could have seen a load of Halloween films. BBC Two aired The Vault of Horror, an all-night marathon from 11 p.m. until 7:30 a.m. featuring the films Creepshow, The Curse of the Werewolf.
Yeah,
is that the Oliver Reed one?
I think it is.
The Bride of Frankenstein.
Gory, but not very good.
Deathline. That's a weird one to have in there. That is quite good. Yeah, that's Mind the Gap, isn't it?
Yep, that's Mind the Gap, all right.
Yeah, that's
Mind
one
the
with
Doors.
the really...
Sorry, Mind the Doors.
Mind the Doors. It's the one with the really weird conversation between Donald Pleasance and Christopher Lee.
Oh, God, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, it is.
They're just filmed straight on, aren't they? It's just this weird bit in the middle of it just happens. You're like, what the hell is going on?
That really is a weird film, actually, the more I think about it.
It is a very odd film. And Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Yeah, if you like Abbott and Costello, you'll probably find it funny.
Yeah, quality lineup. But yeah, Deathline's the star there, I think. Right, new shows. What new shows came out in October? 1st of October, there was GP. This is another Australian medical practice, fictional general medical practice in the vein of Seven Network Serial A. A country practice in the vein of that. Whereas a country practice was set in a rural setting, GP was set at a clinic in an inner Sydney suburb. You know what to expect.
Yeah. What's that there? A dingo bite? It's be that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly that. 3rd of October, WYSIWYG, or What You See Is What You Get, or WYSIWYG. This was a children's series broadcast on ITV. I don't know what it is.
Never watched it.
But it's weird. Each episode starts as a different show, usually a parody of a popular ITV program of the time. And it's then interrupted by IGTV, Intergalactic Television broadcast from the planet Murdoch.
I bet it was.
3rd of October, Knights and Warriors.
Oh, God, this.
American competition television program, premiered in syndication, whatever. Similar in format to American Gladiators. I don't remember this at all. Have you seen this?
Yes, I remember. Wasn't watched it. We didn't get it massive syndication in the UK, I don't think, on the terrestrial TV. It was crap, though, because it was as you imagine it, foam knights and armor and foam swords and with all due respect to our US listeners, what they believe was medieval England, essentially, which is not that. No, nothing like it.
No. 3rd of October, Sandokan. based on a series of books.
Yeah, I've never read them.
No, I've never read them. 6th of October, there was Teach.
I don't like that spelling.
American sitcom television series that briefly aired on CBS from September 18th to October 16th. Ooh, that's not very long, is it?
It didn't last long, did it?
But for some reason, it got bought and shown here for 4 weeks.
It would do because it was cheap.
Yeah, probably. I don't remember anything about it. 6th of October, Anything But Love, another American sitcom. It did last, 4 seasons, 56 episodes. I've no idea. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis in it, though. It's Hannah
Cheap
Miller.
syndicated stuff from America now we're getting. This is the wall-to-wall Dallas effect.
Yeah, true. 6th of October, there was Gabriel's Fire, an American crime drama television series created by Donald R. Boyle.
Yeah.
Who is this? The series starred James Earl Jones, who won an Emmy Award for his performance.
He did? Yeah. Never seen it.
Never heard of it, though. 8th of October, we had Later with Jules Holland started.
Yeah, it started. It can't be stopped. Still going.
It can never be stopped. No, it's still going. I mean, it's just a studio band thing, isn't it? It usually is. I think it's mostly known now for the Hogmanay episode, isn't it, for New Year?
Yeah, it is. Famous for some of its amazing live performances. Very much of the follow-on, really, and almost a sort of an unnatural, but a follow-on from the Old Grey Whistle Test, things like that. Where
the Tube and stuff.
Yeah, the Tube, where you had sort of quite big name bands come in and do very live performances on a very small sort of stage, usually with Jules Holland playing honky-tonk piano, whether they like it or not. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm just joining in. Jules, stop, man.
Stop! I'm trying to. Imagine he did that during Adele's performance of some of her songs.
Just in the background.
Someone like you, and it comes on with this. Get up! Shut up! I'm trying to be emotional.
That's the worst piano impression I've ever done.
I'm not sure that was what that was. That piano? Goodness me! What kind of piano?
That's what he plays, isn't it?
However,
I imagine he just does it with his mouth.
I imagine he plays the piano with his hands.
No, but he doesn't. No, sometimes he just makes noises.
Oh, right. Okay. So he just plays mouth piano.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I suppose you can do that if you want.
Plays his teeth like the keys.
He's a very popular chap, though, isn't he? Later with Jules Holland. He's had loads of big namers on that. Really famous musicians and bands have been on there. And he annoys all of them by just playing along. But that's his way. That's his little way.
He was in Squeeze, wasn't he? Was it Squeeze?
He was, yeah. He was in one of those, I think, yeah.
Yeah. 10th of October, Gladiators.
Yeah.
Starts.
Yeah. Oh, this.
It's back. It's back.
Yeah, it's on BBC now. It is back with all new gladiators. So, it's just members of the public pitched against.
Oh, wouldn't it be good if it was still the old ones? The new one was just the old gladiators on it.
I'm surprised they haven't made guest appearances on it. I mean, is it Diane Udall was her name? Was it? I can't remember her stage name. Was it Shadow or
what?
I can't remember. Jet, that was the one. Yeah,
that's Jet. I put a picture of Jet there for you. One for the dads.
They were. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was very attractive, muscular-ish women at the time. And there still is now. The modern show is no different. And you've got there was a guy called, was he called the villain in that? What was he called? I can't remember.
Wolf.
Wolf, that was it. So, and he was the villain, a grumpy guy with really odd hair.
Yeah, he was on the Barbarian advert, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's the Barbarian. It's the Barbarian, isn't it?
He's the Barbarian, yeah.
It's the Barbarian.
There was somebody, I remember he got really annoyed once because, our friend at college used to always say it, sort of thing, that he got dead annoyed that someone went before the whistle in one of the events. And he got dead annoyed. He went before the whistle! He was really annoyed with it.
It was all part of the theatrics of the show, isn't it? So everyone must be familiar with gladiators. So, muscular gym rats and people with extensive volumes of hypertrophy go up against Joe Public, and they have an assault course, but they also have various weaponry that they use, mostly soft form, large format sort of cocktail sticks and things like that. Yeah, they call them pugil sticks. It's a cocktail stick for a giant dragon in it or something. Anyway, the idea was you either bat them off there. They had some crazy challenges, though, like the hang tough, where they just did like monkey bars, but on really for crazy people, and that was quite compelling at the time. And then they introduced characters like Jet, and then that was because this was I think pre Baywatch and that time as well. So this was just before Baywatch or just after.
Time. Yeah.
So so you got you had a good an hour and a half of dad time at that time.
Yeah.
Watching me shows. I don't know what you seen that Gladiators. You bloody well wouldn't, would you? Or she could bat me with that pugil stick, that one. Whoa, and all that kind of thing.
She could clean my ears out with that giant tooth.
And remember that Chris Morris got the better of Wolf, didn't he? Remember? We want Wolf power, or his head will explode in like a shower of pulped yams.
Good old Wolf power.
That was Wolf power. Yeah, it was. I think it was that the drug episode where he was trying to get them to beat cake. Yeah, and they need wolf power, or something like that. Oh no, it was the elephant one. It was where the elephant got its trunk stuck up its ass.
And then its head went up.
Yeah. So it says, please help him. And it was an elephant could no more get its trunk up its ass than we could lick our balls. So yeah, it's that. Famously,
one.
It's
Let's
that
come
one.
out. It's all smooth.
It's all smooth and white. That was Jilly Cooper, rest in peace, wasn't it? You got flummoxed by Chris Morris as well.
Yeah. Anyway, 12th of October. Good Morning with Anne and Nick.
Good morning.
It's a British daytime television show presented by Anne Diamond and Nick Owen.
Yeah.
There you go. 21st of October, there was Pole to Pole.
I remember watching some of that, and that was quite interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's another Michael Palin travelogue, isn't it?
Yeah, I quite liked the Around the World in 80 Days that he did. So I quite liked it. I quite like his Monty Python-ish take on things, because it is essentially watching kind of a Monty Python character. So not full-blown that, but there's these bits of it in there, and he meets some really interesting characters. He did an amazing one when he went to North Korea, which was quite interesting. But
yeah,
I mean,
like Palin's
him
a bit of a
presenter.
Yeah, he's a bit of a national treasure, isn't he, Michael Palin?
He is, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. No. And he's actually, I think, really my favourite, one of my favourite, if not my favourite Python out of all of them.
He was always very good.
Palin.
Yeah,
so
I was always an Eric Idle fan personally because of his monologues.
Yeah, I think Idle. I just quite like Michael Palin because he's normally this really silly one, isn't he? And is the even Life of Brian. I just remember him being that guy once a sturdy diving around and stuff like that.
Yeah,
really good stuff.
Yeah. 21st of October, there was Melrose Place. Heard of it, never watched it.
Oh, yeah, same. I'd heard of that in the same way I'd heard of, what's he called? The other one that was like it. So obviously I'd heard of it, but I can't remember it.
90210?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're the same sort of thing, but probably are for me. I don't know.
Just 26th of October? No, who cares? There was Get Back.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Ray Winston was in this.
He was, yeah. But again, not heard
and
of
Kate
that one.
Winslet.
Crazy.
28th of October, there was The Secret Agent.
Yeah, never saw that either.
No, it's got Peter Capaldi in it, David Suchet. Who knows?
Okay.
And
good
but
name.
interestingly, though, 29th of October, Bad Influence started.
It did.
So this was a British factual television programme broadcast on CITV. It looked at video games and computer technology. It was described as a kid's tomorrow world.
Ugh, just what we needed.
Did you ever used to watch this? Because I don't think I ever watched this.
And now I have. And weirdly, and by a complete coincidence, one clip of this appeared on my timeline for reasons in YouTube, which was a clip of the show where because there was Andy Peters was one of the presenters in it. I think it's Andy Peters?
Andy Crane.
Andy Crane, sorry, yeah, I knew it was one of the Andys. Andy Crane was one of the presenters in it. And then it had this other woman, and I can't remember her name, but she was like an elf with a lisp. But she was, good, very lively presenters. And they were talking about in this particular thing, it was to do with, I want to say it was the Neo Geo, and that the Neo Geo had been released or something, like a different version. So, and they were sort of talking about the different prices in the cartridges. It was where they're reviewing games and stuff like that, but kind of done in a certain way, in a certain style. I wouldn't say it was Kids Tomorrow's World. Maybe it was a bit too much like that. I would say it was more Blue Peter-y. Techno Blue Peter, really.
The girl you're referring to there is Violet Berlin, who would go on to do loads of things.
She was good. Just I couldn't remember her name, and I just remember. But I remember watching a few. I don't remember watching an entire episode, or such as it was. I just remember it being on, and then not turning it off because it would have a video game on it. They'd be talking about some computer thing, or and outside of Tomorrow's World, you didn't really get a lot of talk about it on TV. Just technology just was kind of happening, and it was really blooming, and loads of crazy stuff was going on, and the TV in the UK seemed completely oblivious to it all. Really strange when you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing was this was the period where I just want into video games and stuff. So I just wasn't wasn't interested.
This is you get into the year 92 to 96 is what, PS1 era? Is that where it would be?
No, that's pre-PS1. At this point
so Mega Drive, is it? And
Mega Drive, SNES, the things like the 3DO, CDI.
They mentioned
the
Neo Geo on this. That was mentioned because I saw
Neo
that.
Geo. But PS1 was, I think, 94 in Japan, 95, 96 over here in the US. But yeah, we hadn't hit the PS1 just yet. We hadn't hit the N64, so we were still in the SNES, Mega Drive. So Amiga, ST with 16-bit.
Yeah,
days.
there was that sort of stuff on it. They did stuff like they reviewed like word processing tools or music software and So it was that, but it was that Tomorrow's World, a bit like the Gadget Show, almost a precursor to the Gadget Show a little bit, but mainly focused on like computer bits. And it was pretty good. And they did talk to some luminaries at the time, and and quite interesting things were being spoken about. I think Doom made an appearance on there at some point, or something like that.
Probably.
That sort of thing. So, it was the bits I've seen were, at least it wasn't really condescending. And those shows tend to have a tendency to do that. And they go, Thingy never did. Games Master. And this one didn't go fully that way. Every now and again it kind of did, but not bad. But what I saw was all right. And at least it was some coverage, because, like I said, technology was happening all around the place, and the TV was, you never even heard of it on TV. You never even got a look in.
No.
Crazy.
No. Let's get to the films. 2nd of October, if you wanted to go to the cinema, you could have gone and seen Bitter Moon.
Yeah, would you have, though?
No.
No.
Hugh Grant and Kristen Scott Thomas in this, pre-Four Weddings.
Yeah, Roman Polanski directed it, so controversial on its own. Yeah.
You could have also seen City of Joy.
You could have. Unusual casting.
Patrick Swayze and Pauline Collins together at last.
You can't imagine that, can you? I don't remember much of that, though. So
no, I've no idea.
Probably quite good.
There was also Gas Food Lodging.
Never seen it.
No, but this starred Brooke Adams and Ione Skye, so I bet Gary watched this a lot.
Oh, he would have definitely watched it with one eye, maybe three.
The dirty boy.
The dirty, filthy, bloody filthy.
You'd just be expecting more. If I say the words the Rachel Papers, he's got into a bit of a froth now listening to this.
Off the Rachel Papers. Oh, Ione Skye.
Ione Skye.
Yeah, okay.
So, there you go. There was also Carry On Columbus.
Oh, no.
The Columbus film we forgot about when we said there was two came along at once.
But it's because it needs to be forgotten about and erased, because it is absolutely awful. This was meant to be the big return to the, Carry On. They were hilarious. Carry On movies are great. Let's put a modern cast in a Carry On movie. What could go wrong? Let's also include some of the oldies like Jim Dale. What did you do? Resurrect the guy? Bloody Nora. Where did you find him? I mean, it's as bad as you can imagine it to be. It's like lots of cheesy double entendre from people like Julian Clary.
Julian Clary's in it.
It's just lots of dick and ball jokes, and it's not what Carry On was about. Carry On was of its time, and it existed in a space with those characters. You can't just supplement and the few remaining ones that were still alive, throw them into that and expect it just to pick up where they left off. It doesn't work. It was awful. No. It was so bad. And it killed it off. There was never another Carry On movie made afterwards. That was it.
No, and with good cause.
Yeah. Sad end for them.
Yeah. 9th of October, there was Beauty and the Beast, the Disney one that changed everything, I suppose.
It did. It changed Disney's fortunes forever. There were,
we've spoken about it quite a few times before, haven't we? But this was the film that did it. I'm sure I went to the cinema to see this with Gary. I think we did see it, pretty sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, Gary was in it, wasn't he, Mr. Potts?
What, the clock?
Yeah,
That's
Cogsworth, isn't it? It's Cogworth. It's obviously a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, but this is classic Disney territory. So this is where they started doing lots of cultural appropriation and stealing of other people's stuff. So this was not a American tale as such. No, this was a fable, I know, a European fable. French, and then it became, actually, really.
Now they own it, and if you try and do it as a canto in a school, you get cancelled and stopped.
Yeah, they do a variant. I went to see Beauty and the Beast at pantomime just last Christmas. It was all right. There wasn't too copyright infringing. No, there's no Disney police as far as I'm aware. But it's a classic redo of Disney animation. Up to this point, we've mentioned it many times. Disney was struggling both in terms of their theme park and in terms of their brand presence. They'd had various offshoots into more independent films, and they've been producing some of those, which had minor successes, but they didn't have any major, massive animation hits. And Disney was an animation studio. To not have big animation hits for them was catastrophic. And they had the wrong people in there making the wrong decisions. And the films they were making were kind of bleak and dark, and Fox and the Hound and The Black Cauldron, and you had Trons, and you had the Black Holes, and just a succession of films Dragon Slayer, just a succession of movies and animations that weren't the Disney standard. Even you don't have to go that far back to things like The Rescuers and stuff like that. Traditional hand-framed, hand-drawn animation. Anyway, it was a return to form. Take a classic Disney formula. A princess, story essentially. Get some really good characters, fill it full of really good songs, and get some really good songwriters in. Then tap the animation up with a little bit of a modern twist. So keep it hand-cell, but also throw in some sort of light, subtle computer graphics and just computer-controlled framing so you can add sort of more modern depth to the animation instead of utilizing those really complicated techniques. And what you end up with when you do that, and you get people like Angela Lansbury to sing songs, and for goodness sake, you end up with Beauty and the Beast, and it is genuinely brilliant. And I would never profess to be the big Disney advocate, particularly because you know that Beauty and the Beast was really just an advert for all the merch.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
But that said, as a film and animation and of its time, it is genuinely brilliant. And it was one of those movies that, again, I mentioned it before, when I was in Blockbuster, sometimes I used to put Beauty and the Beast on the TV system in the shop. One, because it was a safe bet that no one's going to get particularly offended. Two, we had 1 million copies of it. And three, you could set your watch by how long it was. It was exactly probably 90 minutes, probably slightly less, maybe 65 minutes, something like that. So you could measure how many times it had been on in your mind for how long your shift was going to be, and relatively. I know it sounds crazy, but at a certain point, we were instructed to put Beauty and the Beast and Disney movies on only, because we used to get complaints if we put on like Alien or some of the horror movies and stuff.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I've got here a list of the films that Disney released in the 80s.
Oh, that's cool. Bring that. So let's hit me with that. That's interesting.
Okay, because there's quite a lot, but you can see what were they thinking. I'll because it's got Walt Disney Productions and Touchstone Films. We'll ignore the Touchstone ones, but under Walt Disney Productions, we start off 1980, Midnight Madness.
That's not sounding good, is it?
The Watcher in the Woods.
A bit of a dark twist.
Herbie Goes Bananas.
Oh, that ain't very good.
Last Flight of Noah's Ark. The Devil and Max Devlin. Something called Amy. The Fox and the Hound. Condor Man.
Oh, it was terrible.
Night Crossing. None of these sound particularly Disney. It's the Tron, Tex, Trench Coat. Sounds like something like Dirty Harry would be in at this point. Something Wicked This Way Comes. Never Cry Wolf. Running Brave. Then there's Return to Oz. The Black Cauldron. The Journey of Natty Gann.
Ooh, that was awful.
One Magic Christmas. The Great Mouse Detective. Flight of the Navigator.
That was all right.
Benji the Hunted.
Doesn't sound happy.
Return to Snowy River. Oliver and Company.
Ooh, that's not good.
And then we get Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Okay.
Which is good. Cheetah. And then The Little Mermaid in 1989.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. That's what they'd released in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. So Little Mermaid, tip of the spear, wasn't it? And that was when Katzenberg and Michael Eisner, Katzenberg, and I forget the third part of the famous triangle, but they joined forces, didn't they? And they actually turned Disney's fortunes completely around with one hit after another. So after this, you'll have Tarzan, you've got Lion King, and the list goes on after that. And they found their mojo. And then, of course, just in the background somewhere lurking is Pixar. So, and after that, all bets are off
absolutely.
After that. They were
I never
done.
knew that Walt Disney did The Rocketeer, actually.
Yeah, that was the Disney movie. And it's a great movie as well.
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, could have seen that if you wanted. There was also 9th of October. There was also White Men Can't Jump.
I never got the thing. I mean, I heard it was very good from people that like that kind of thing. It never got to me. Yeah.
Woody and Wesley together at last.
Yeah, and I imagine it's all right of its time. I was just not. It was never going to be quite my thing at this point. I'm quite a sci-fi fan at this point. So.
Yeah, I think I saw it at Whitgift and I was a bit bored.
Yeah.
There's also something called Spotswood. Australian film, I think. An expert on productivity shows wacky workers in 1966 Australia how to run their moccasin factory like clockwork, despite laying off more than half the workforce. That's Anthony Hopkins. Which sounds like most video game companies these days.
Yeah, it does a bit.
Always wins.
Yeah.
There was also Blue Ice. It was an espionage film with Michael Caine and Sean Young.
Yeah, it sounds cheesy and cheap.
Yeah. 16th of October, there was Thunderheart. Young mixed-blood FBI agent is assigned to work with a cynical veteran investigator on a murder on a poverty-stricken Sioux reservation. Val Kilmer
very similar to a story that we had before in another film.
Yeah. But that was Val Kilmer and this one was Sam Shepard. I think that, there was a very similar one. There was also Strictly Ballroom, which movie of the month, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, no doubt about it.
It's one of my all-time favourites. It's one of my top 10.
Wow, that's surprising.
I absolutely love Strictly Ballroom. It's just a film that it makes me laugh. It makes me feel good. It's just amazing. Yeah. I can think about the bit where his dad starts walking forward in the silence, doing the clapping. Yeah, and I think about it right now, and the hairs on my arm go up.
Fair enough.
It's one of those films that just gets me somewhere. It's Baz Luhrmann. It's Baz Luhrmann's best one, as far as I'm concerned. By
first film, wasn't it? His first film, I think.
It's Country Mile. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that. It's a good film. Another one that we used to put on in Blockbuster, so for the timing of it, strange enough. So because it's a film that would not offend anybody. It's good.
Love is in the air.
Yeah, you can't really go wrong, can you? It's
Great
good.
use of that. Fantastic film.
It's a good film.
There was also Wuthering Heights.
Yeah, another version of it. There's dozens of them.
Yeah, Juliette Binoche, Ralph Fiennes in that one. There was also 1492, Conquest of Paradise, the third Columbus. Film. I was going to say Columbo then. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Columbo discovering America in the 19th.
He would never have believed
century.
them. No, he'd have found them guilty, wouldn't he?
One more thing.
One more thing is, so you said you won the Spear on a Wednesday. I don't know. This was the
Ridley Scott one.
Ridley Scott one, wasn't it? So the one with the Vangelis soundtrack. I remember going because I was thinking, Ridley Scott, it's going to be amazing. Blade Runner, Ridley Scott, and it was boring as hell, wasn't it? It was really boring. Yeah,
really
we've got a better film, of the sort of historical time period type thing coming up further down the line. At some point, we'll have Last of the Mohicans, and that kind of just took a great big dump on that one. That's different time periods, obviously. I get that, but these big sort of epic retellings of time periods. It was meant to be the big one, wasn't it? And what the obsession was with it, I don't know why suddenly it was like a big deal all of a sudden, but it was
500 years.
Yeah, I get that part, but even then, why is it such a big deal? I don't. Is it major?
I'm guessing
thing?
it's. I don't know.
The slaughter of lots of innocent people. I'm not sure it's something that's.
I'm guessing it's 1492, 1992. It's just it will make a load of Columbus films for the 500-year anniversary, I guess.
Yeah, and I think sometimes there's a little bit of the mission kind of set the standard for these kind of things. Have a great soundtrack and a film that kind of meanders, but the soundtrack might carry it on. This kind of does the same thing. It's sort of that's pretty good. Yeah, after a while, okay, yeah.
23rd of October, there was the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, I didn't rate I quite like some of the TV show. I never rated the film.
My housemate, who I lived with at the time, used to take over the TV on a Thursday night to watch Buffy, because it used to be on Sky or wherever it was, or when it was on. It was Buffy 8 o'clock till 9, and then Angel 9 till 10.
Yeah,
I just used to bugger off upstairs because I never got into them. I never particularly liked them. I thought they were just cheesy as shit. But obviously the film flopped, so it's weird that the film flopped, but the TV show became a really big cult hit, didn't it?
Different writer for the TV show, wasn't it? They got that young, what's his name in, and
was it? I thought it was Joss Whedon did them both.
No, I don't know if he did the first one but he came back and did something spectacular for the TV series. I think he was given more freedom for the TV series. I think was the thing.
Joss Whedon wrote the film. I think it's just got a different tone to it. Maybe
I think that's not the studio influence messing with him, and he was given free reign to kind of do what he wanted for the TV show.
We don't talk about Joss Whedon much these days.
The TV show was aimed specifically at the MTV generation, and they filled it full of young hopefuls of the time. So you had some really good looking actresses and actors in it. Sadly, recently one of them passed away. Of course, Xander, the guy who plays Xander.
It was this week, wasn't it? I see. That was quite sad. I just wonder whether Sarah Michelle Gellar was just a more palatable front girl than Christy Swanson was.
Yeah, and that's absolutely it. She obviously was, and they TV-ified. It probably should have always been a TV series. It would have made a more compelling TV series than a movie. I don't think you could convey enough of the lore of that show in a film, whereas in the TV series, you got
a lot of time
for quite a while. Yeah, ultimately it was
quite a lot. And had the Angel spin-off and stuff.
Angel, there was the spin-off, of course, and then of course there was people getting possessed. It was almost like a vampiric Grange Hill of its time, really, in its own way.
With a steak coming in rather than a sausage in the start.
Yeah, and like two fangs like, oh,
steak.
Yeah, the thing would have been played on like a harpsichord, wouldn't it? Ding, dang, 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 dang.
Buffy, I'll get you, Buffy.
Yeah, Roland the vampire.
On the
Roland, why did you drink all of their blood, Roland?
Leave me alone. Just say no, Roland. Just say no, Zammo. Stop drinking the blood, Zammo. Don't change.
Yeah,
don't be bitter.
Just say no if you want to be part of a vampiric crowd. Yeah. I'd go for that, but that's what it was, really. But maybe a little bit more adult. But
yeah, there was going to resurrect this recently, wasn't there? But it has fallen by the wayside. It's been cancelled.
Yeah, it got cancelled before it started, and much to Michelle, whatever her name is, chagrin. She wasn't happy about it. Yeah, she put a statement out saying, "What are you doing, dickheads?" I mean, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but
she would go on to play Daphne in the Scooby-Doo movie.
She did, yeah. And she was also in a weird remake of Dangerous Liaisons as well, which was
Cruel Intentions.
Yeah, it's so shite, but because I really like Dangerous Liaisons, it was a teen MTV version of that. Yeah, with weirdly sort of, you know,
Ryan Philippe, if I remember rightly.
yeah, 16-year-olds driving Porsches and like, who are these bloody people? What schools are they at? And yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah. Anyway, if you didn't want to go see Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you could have seen Husbands and Wives.
Nope.
Woody Allen films, so nope, probably not. 30th of October, there was The Crying Game.
Yeah, big thing at the time, wasn't it? No, I won't spoil it, even though The Simpsons did a brilliant job of that.
And Naked Gun,
yeah,
the second one.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
There was also My Father the Hero.
Ew, I don't like that.
Yeah, Gerard Depardieu, Woody Allen and Roman Polanski in one episode, and Joss Whedon. Good Lord. How times have changed. There was also Boomerang, Eddie Murphy film.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
No, non-comedy. There was, but actually, okay, we've got Strictly Ballroom. This might run it a close upwards as well. You probably prefer this one. There was Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yeah, Glengarry Glen Ross is amazing. I only watched it. I only watched it maybe 2 days ago.
It's that script is, oh God, that script.
It's a script and it's the cast. I mean, you've got a really powerful cast in that film. And it's not a film where a lot happens, has to be said. But
no, a lot of people talk.
It's just very, I mean, it's obviously based on a play. I'd love to see the play. I've never had a chance to see that. And it actually did do a run recently as well. I'd love to have seen it.
It'd be good.
But really good stuff.
It gave birth to Old Gil.
It did, actually. Yeah, that's where they've got that from, in it, in The Simpsons. They got it based on Jack Lemmon's character. Yeah. Because he plays
Old
the mean...
Gil.
Well, he's what's he called in that? They call him the Machine, don't they? He's, I forget his name of the character in that. But you've got Pacino in there, of course, plays Ricky Roma.
Alec Baldwin almost steals the film in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, he does do the amazing, attention, interest, decision. Coffee is for closers and always be closing and all of these, and those are genuine sales. Years ago, when I first started working at a newspaper I won't name, I was working in the sales department and they gave us sales training, and the sales training they gave us was called the pattern of the sale. And part of that, believe it or not, was AIDA. Can you believe that? It's true.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
We were given the attention, interest, decision, action. He didn't say that, attention, have I got your attention and coffees and closers and all that. But that bit aside, there's some amazing moments in that. The bit where Kevin Spacey's character realizes that Jack Lemmon has not been necessarily truthful, should we say, and you just see him when he just connects the dots and you're like, he shot himself in the foot there. Really, I love it. I love that film so much. I watch it very regularly. It's really good. Yeah,
it's worth, if you haven't watched it in a while or you haven't watched it, there's a treat for you. That's a treat.
Yeah, it is, because it's a very, very talented writer. He went on to write a few sort of movies, didn't he, as such?
Is it Aaron Sorkin?
No, it's
Is it the other one? What's his?
What's his name? He did.
It's David
Wag
Mamet.
The Dog. Yeah, Dave Mamet did Wag the Dog. And
yes.
He did that one with Anthony Hopkins where they get trapped in the woods, which is another good movie that's really well written. There's a few films like that, but yeah, so definitely go seek out Glengarry Glen Ross. The first person to do so might win a set of steak knives.
Only if you close. Yeah.
The third place is the Eldorado, the car. Second place, set of steak knives. Third place, you're fired.
That's it. He wrote The Untouchables.
Yeah. Clever guy.
Yeah, I knew I'd heard of him. It's that kind of hard-boiled dialogue. I just get mixed up sometimes.
It's brilliant, that dialogue. I think Glenn.
He wrote Hannibal as well.
He did. I didn't realise that till fairly recently when I sort of rewatched it, because I quite like that because of its dialogue. The rest of the film's a bit pantaloons in it in some ways, but it's actually pretty tough. But I think Al Pacino's opening sentence in Glengarry Glen Ross is, "Every train department spells vaguely of shit." That's his opening line in that film.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Exactly.
And finally, just to round out the month, we talked a lot about these. There's Unlawful Entry.
Yeah.
It's a Madeleine Stowe film.
Who?
I don't know. Is it Meg Ryan? It's one of those M women.
It's one of them M women. Madeleine Stone, Sharon Stone.
Mimi Rogers.
She was in a few films, wasn't she, old Madeleine Stowe? None of I remember them all now, but she was a good-looking lady in her day.
Yeah, she was obviously the last of the Mohicans, wasn't she? But this is Madeleine Stowe, Kurt Russell, Ray Liotta, and a kind of home invasion
that's
thriller.
Right. I remember now. Yeah, I remember that now. I've got
there was a slew of these.
Trailer. Yeah, there was, yeah.
Because was this, the other one I always remember as well is Pacific Heights.
Yes.
With Michael Keaton, Matthew Modine.
That's right.
Meg Ryan, another M. They're all M's.
Yeah.
It's why I got confused. I'm old and confused. And I don't know what day it is. Anyway, there you go. That was your TV and video and film, for for the month
Quite
of
a lot to
October.
go out there.
There was quite a chunk to go out. Some interesting stuff there. Ghost Watch, things like that. Sky taking over everything. Some interesting films coming out. Okay. Right. On that note, we're going to go away, take a quick break. We've still got one game left for October 1992. We've also got budget releases, a crap cover. The charts are back.
Okay.
We've got all them things still to come. So please do stick with us. We'll see you in a moment.
The novel Escape from the Commodore 64 by David Hearn is out now. Growing up in the 80s is a chore for Sarah, who feels misunderstood by her parents and badgered by Reese, her bothersome brother who incessantly prattles on about his treasured computer games. When Reese tells her one of the games tried to pull him inside the computer, she laughs off his fanciful fib. She waggles the joystick to disprove his fairy tale and is pulled into the computer. Now trapped in games she'd never had any interest in playing, how can she possibly beat them? With the help of feisty Nell, another trapped player, can Sarah find her way back home, or is it game over? An evil madman, a hostile planet, bloodthirsty robots, a never-ending throng of karate experts, and relentless digital soldiers will do their best to ensure Sarah never escapes. Available from Amazon and all good online retailers, find out if there's a way out of the beige bread bin of betrayal for Sarah in Escape from the Commodore 64.
And we're back. We're back with our very final game, October 1992, and this is another children's TV license. This is Bangers and Mash.
Okay.
Bangers and Mash. It's £4.
Bangers and Mash.
It got 53%, which means it got less than Count Duckula.
Oh, dear.
Set your expectations accordingly. Anyway, it's not a game based on some sausages and potatoes, but rather the short-lived ITV kids show from 1989. It only ran for a few episodes, but then just got released, repeated forever. This was released by Alternative Software. They did Count Duckula 2 and developed by Bizarre Developments. The code here is by Michael J. Lister. We've seen him a few times before. Battle Stations, BMX Ninja, DNA Warrior. That was quite good.
Okay, that's all right.
Remember Huxley? He also did Huxley Pig, the weirdly pointless Kentucky Racing. And others. And the visuals, music by Paul A. Bellamy. He worked on BMX Ninja, Huxley Pig, Kentucky Racing. And there you go. So what was Bangers and Mash? You're probably not asking. Anyway, according to the wiki, Bangers and Mash is an English animated children's cartoon series originally broadcast on CITV in 1989, repeated until around 1993. The series consists of 25 5-minute episodes. That was it. That's all they made.
That's all they did.
Yeah, Bangers and Mash are two troublemaking chimpanzees, and through wanting to have fun, caused grief for others. This is from the wiki, by the way. Namely making a mess or breaking something of importance, normally belonging to their parents, or golf clubs, or gran, who also lived with them. Like all the inhabitants of their island, they lived in a house built on top of a tree. Their address being number 3 Tree Street. There you go.
Okay.
Too late for me to watch. I was 17 when this came out. There's no way I'm watching this. But for some reason, I did recognise the theme tune to this. Bangers and Mash.
Bangers and Mash.
The game itself does a terrible cover. We'll talk about that a bit later. But the loading screen is odd. There are two chimps being bothered by a witch whilst flinging mud pies, I think, and trying to get some fruit. Why is all this going on? Well, I got the instructions, so I can tell you, Graham. I can tell you exactly why this is all going on. There's Bangers and Mash. Here we are at number 3 Tree Street, Chimpton. Breakfast has just finished, and those two cheeky chimps, Bangers and Mash, are about to get up to all sorts of tricks. But before they can start, Mum sends them out of the house to collect loads of fruit for a big pie she's making. Our two chimps swing off through the trees in search of fruit. Unfortunately for our two pals, it isn't going to be easy, and there are lots of hazards to overcome. Luckily, Mash is very good at making and throwing mud pies. I know what kind of mud pies chimps throw.
Yeah, exactly. They're not the nice kind.
No, so he drops these through the trees to keep the creepy crawlies occupied, while Bangers collects the fruit. After all, Bangers can only throw a few mud pies whilst he is so busy. Well, this makes any sense. Oh dear, oh dear. Mrs. Snitchnose, the bad-tempered old witch, spots the two chimps and sends her pet ghosts after them. Bangers will need to throw his mud pies for all he's worth. Perhaps he can hide inside a hollow tree trunk. The flowers and other animals in the forest aren't very pleased with Bangers for creating all this commotion, so he leaves the forest, sneaking past Mrs. Snitchnose's house. But she sees him and sends some wobbly skeletons after him. Gulp, back to the forest. Mash has blown up a large balloon, and if Bangers catches it, it should take him to another part of the forest for more fruit and perhaps home to Mum for some dinner and a big reward for our chimp champs. Good luck, chimps. Good luck, Frank.
Good luck, Frank.
There's another page. It says features, naughty, cheeky chimps, banana skins, a bad-tempered witch, ghost. I feel like I'm just doing the generation game here. Ghosts, skeletons, hedgehogs, pretty flowers and not so pretty flowers, chimp biting plants, balloons, rickety old log bridges, mud pies, ladybirds. Hints and tips. Keep an eye open for the flowers. White ones go bang and all fruit and screen is collected. Purple ones give bonus points. Blue ones reverse your controls for a while. Red ones, they aren't nice at all. When all your fruit counters are at 0, Bangers will be able to leave that level. Wow, it's enough to send you ape. So don't monkey about, get playing.
Oh, God, really?
Yes. I kid you not, I couldn't write this. Too good. The game loads up. It's got a fairly decent title page, this actually. The front end to this is actually pretty good. The logo's at the top and the music playing is recognisable as the theme from the show. It's not too bad a version, actually. And even without being aware of it, as soon as it came on, I knew it was by Chaz and Dave before the credits came up for it. It's Chaz and Dave written all over it. Dang as a mash, bag as a mash. You're
only a game. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, Chaz and Dave wrote this, but this is actually a decent version of it. And the front page, it's just some nice. It's nice to hear the music from the show. We've always said like, use the music, use the bloody music.
Yeah.
And they do here, and it's a decent version of that. There's also some nice comedy-style credits that wipe in and out as well, which I quite like, the way sort of iris in and out. It's well presented. I liked it. I thought this front end was good. There's no options, though. There's nothing. All you can do is press fire to start the game. The music stops. There's no sound in game aside from some sound effects, usual stuff. So the game, you control one of the chimps. I don't know which. I don't care. The game itself is a it's a vertical. No, sorry, hang on. No, let me get this right. The game is a horizontal flick screen, but vertical scrolling platformer.
Yep.
That makes sense. What I mean is that you can go from left to right and it will flick to different screens if you go to the left. And so that was, but then you platform upwards where it will scroll upwards. So it's vertical, but you've got this horizontal stuff. An odd design, but it is what it is. Your chimp is controlled in the usual way, left and right for walking, up to jump, and fire to throw. I think they're mud pies, but they're white. So what do I know? Yeah, I don't know what they are. Your job is to navigate the various vertically scrolling screens and collect all the fruit and diamonds on them in order to progress. The platforms get more and more spaced apart as you navigate vertically, and numerous enemies patrol them like ladybirds, hedgehogs, and the like. Contact with these will cause you to lose one of your 3 lives, and should all 3 go, it's game over and back to the title screen for you. There's no high score or anything like that here, as that would be all too good. That would be something to actually aim for, but now there's nothing. You just die, back to the title screen. You'll also be managed by those ghosts that were mentioned.
You will?
Launched by Snitch Nose, whatever her name is. They come on from the side of the screen, accompanied by a horrible ooh type noise that will just... Oh, it's not good. These things slowly home in on you, and you've got to shoot them several times just to make them go away. They don't die, they just disappear off. You bugger off. As you get higher, the witch starts bothering you, riding on a broom in ever-ascending sine waves. The old sine wave attack, Graham, back and forth across the screen. If you get higher up, she'll disappear off the bottom. So, you just got to get rid of it. Or you can shoot her several times to make them go away as well, whatever it is. On either side of the screen are tree trunks, because you're climbing up sort of trees, and you'll see often, at one point, you'll see a door in them. You go into this, that flick screens down, but you just float all the way back down to the bottom of the level. And there's loads of fruit and diamonds in there to collect. From the start of the game, you can go left. There are 3 short screens. There's sort of short levels, short vertically scrolling levels, flick across. That's set in a graveyard. You're kind of menaced by skeletons and ghosts for some reason. Don't really understand any of this. I didn't want to, because after about 10 minutes of this game, I just had enough. Climbing the trees and exercising frustration on many levels. The platforms get fewer and far between as you get higher. And of course, getting between them requires some pixel-perfect jumping. And this needs you to jump from the very edge of a platform. Don't always register, though. You press up at the edge of a platform, you just fall off instead. Really annoying. You fall very far as well, because the platforms are quite spaced apart, and it's hard to get back on a platform as you're going downwards, and you can't see where they're coming up, so you end up having to climb back up again, and it's just annoying because you'll just fail at this again and again and again and again and again. On top of this, as you float down, new enemies will have spawned as you go down, and new enemies will spawn up above as you try to climb back up. You'll think it's clear, and you'll just keep jumping up and hit one immediately and die. Dead annoying. So your lives just disappear, and your patience will as well. Then you have the flowers, Graham. The flowers. The levels themselves are replete with flowers already.
It's true.
Some of them are red, but then there's other ones which are red. The red ones kill you on contact. Not all the red ones, though. Just some of the red ones. There's a lack of consistency to deal with, and the whole game is just an exercise in frustration too far. It's just annoying. The visuals aren't terrible, I guess. The trees and the background graphics, quite well drawn. They're in high res. They have that high res sort of specky look about them. They're not too bad. But the sprites are all medium res, so it does have that sort of clash of styles that we've seen from time to time. So, the sound effects are at best perfunctory and at worst annoying. The title screen flatters, really, the rest of the game. I mean, the game itself, it is what it is. You're not going to be playing this very much. And, there's nothing on it to actually sort of, that you want to sort of think about in terms of like the UI at the bottom, because the UI at the bottom just shows you the fruit that you've got to collect. There's a number next to it, your 3 lives and your score. The game takes place in the rest. It is what it is. We've seen these kind of vertical scrolling platformers quite a lot recently. And that title screen, it just flatters because the rest of the game's not very good. They all suffer from making the enemies respawn and making it too hard to navigate between platforms as you get higher. I mean, you drop off and it gets more damaging, and you'll just, your will to play just seeps out of you. You're like, I can't be doing with this. I can't be doing with climbing another one of these where I've got to jump and the jump doesn't always respond.
No.
It'd be too frustrating for kids. I mean, it's supposed to be a kids game, I suppose, isn't it? Bangers and mash. It's supposed to be aimed at kids. Kids would get dead annoyed with this. So I never understand why they make these games so bloody hard in the first place. It says somewhere in those instructions there are other levels. I never got to them. I didn't care to. I don't care. The odd thing here, though, is that whilst this is not very good, it is far better than Count Duckula.
Yeah.
On a level playing field, I didn't like this, but it works. It's not horrible. It just is not. It's just not a particular game that I think is very good, and I think the design's bad, and it's got a lot of problems, and it's annoying. Count Duckula was a horror show. So I don't know how this got a lower score. I don't get it. No. I don't know how. Well, we don't. I mean, 53 is probably round about right. Maybe in the 40s to 50s. It's a budget title. 50s round about. It's playable and it works. It's just annoying. Count Duckula was broken and horrible and ugly and dreadful. So I don't know how that got a higher score. So this is about right. Count Duckula is way too high. And the title screen and the music alone are better than anything in Count Duckula. So I didn't enjoy my time with this. There's not a lot to this. It's just climbing up screens. There's a weird sort of left to right screens as well, and jumping over skeletons and things, and the ghosts are dead annoying. The one, I think if you go all the way to the left, the platforms appear and disappear and stuff, so you have to sort of time your jumps as well, which just makes it even more frustrating. It's 3 lives. It's too you will lose them in no time because the game is just unpleasant to play and it's just annoying. So no, Bangers and Mash was not for me. I like Bangers and Mash as in the food stuff. I didn't particularly like the game. What about you?
Oh, same. I thought the game was rubbish. Just Spectrum-ish, hop up the trees nonsense. Reminded me of that crappy Tarzan game that we played.
Yes, exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
So it was just another one of them, and it's as unfortunate as well. Whereas it was obviously bodged together from the Spectrum and kind of made functional as best they could. I hate games like this. Just travel up the screen games, falling off things, and falling down. It's just snakes and ladders. Really crap version of snakes and ladders. It's no fun to be had here. I didn't enjoy anything about it. The sound effects were annoying. The graphics were too much like a Spectrum. Yeah, it moved around pretty quick, I suppose. But that's the best you could say about it. The graphics were kind of dull looking, that kind of half-assed, high-resi sort of vibe, which doesn't suit the C64 for this kind of thing at all. We've had so many great games the way you're jumping on platforms that this is just beggars belief that this is what you're going to pump out in amongst all of that. Go and play anything else but not this. It's just rubbish. And it's that Tarzan game all over again. I hated that for the exact same reason I hate this. And it's principally the same bloody thing. It's a variation of Winter Bells. You've got to hop up the platforms, get as high as you can. Oh, I fell off. Hop up. Oh, fallen off. Oh, fallen. We had another game like it was that Dizzy game that was very similar, where you was at least that where you were climbing up there. And you have to get all the way up to the top, and then you might fall down that. It's a game type that I've never found that interesting. Falling off things a lot and trying to get high up. Oh, falling off. Oh, falling off again. Oh, falling down. Oh, no. I'm needing more sophistication in my games. We've got things like Monkey Island and things like that around and about on the Amiga and stuff like that now. Games have got more complicated and compelling. This kind of hop up the screen nonsense deserves to live in the mid 80s, where it was probably quite good at the time and never should have entered the 90s. And this is just an example of, they probably found this, I don't know, stuck in the back pocket of some person in there and thought, oh, well, release it, sod it, who cares, you may as well. And we've got to that point now where they're releasing anything, it doesn't matter. Maybe 6 people will buy it. Well, if they do, they do. Utterly reprehensible crap, this. I didn't like anything about it at all. Nothing. The theme was okay, maybe, if you go with it, but everything else, just avoid. It's not even good budget. This is expensive budget as well. It's annoying me that yesteryear budget at £2 was better than now this 90s to £4 business. This isn't twice as good as Kickstart. So go and play them. Go and get some of the old school Mastertronic games out and play some of them. Maybe not Wing Commander, but some of the other ones. Or better yet, go and get Slicks and just don't consign Bangers and Mash to the oblivion pile where it belongs. Rubbish.
Yeah. There you go. Bangers and Mash. It's just not very good, is it? Not very good.
No, it's not.
That's it for this week. And that's it for October 1992. Slicks was good. Bangers and Mash won. So again, we have a 50% hit rate again.
Yep.
So overall for the is Nobby the Aardvark or Slicks the better game? What would you put as the better one?
I'd say Nobby the Aardvark, I think, is very different type of game, but that is actually quite a nice levels, lots of different things going on, lots of graphics.
Yeah. Slicks is a good one of those, though, and a bargain for it, I think.
Yeah, those, if you're going to pick out the 4, those 2.
Yeah, just avoid Count Ducky on Bangers and Mash. There were some budget releases that were reviewed in the magazine. There were Yohanga Khan's World Championship Squash,
which was pretty good.
Not too long back, didn't we?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Well, it's pretty good.
That was good. Stun Runner, that wasn't very good.
No, it was all right, I think. Good music, did it have? I can't remember. Can't remember if it was bad or not.
Bad conversion.
Probably. Oh, yeah, it was.
It was a bad conversion. Jack Nicklaus's Greatest 18 Holes of Major Championship Golf.
Yeah, it fit on the side of the cassette, so not very good.
No. Badlands for £4. In a month where Slicks has come out for the same price.
Yeah.
That's not going to help Badlands, is it?
No.
Not really. Strider 2.
Ooh, Strider Poo.
Yeah.
Avoid that.
And World Championship Boxing Manager. That was a really boring one where you just sat in your office, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Sat in your office.
Exactly that.
Boring. Boring. Anyway, there you go. What's the best one there? Probably World Championship Squash.
Yeah, that was the guy that couldn't be stopped, couldn't he? He was like the world champion for about a million years.
Yeah, he was. That was him. We have a crap cover. It is the cover for Bangers and Mash.
Oh dear, look at that. I'm looking at it right now. Why? I thought that was a good thing.
No, but I've got to draw your attention here to what. Right. So this, there's got the titular Bangers and Mash in the middle. There's, I don't know, a cartoon ghost around lobbing apples at them. They look a bit befuddled as to what's going on. Why is Bangers' finger behind the head of the skeleton, which is far behind them? What's happened to
why is it far behind them? What makes you think it's far behind them?
Well, look where the skeleton is, because the skeleton's feet are on the floor, which seem in that orange part of the thing. The skeleton's behind them.
I thought he was holding that up. I think it's on the end of his finger.
Is it? Oh, okay. I thought it was behind him, because the skeleton's in the game that come walking at you. So I just thought that was walking towards him.
It's hard to think. I mean, this has all the hallmarks of a competition winner. Somebody could win a competition to have the cover of Bangers and Mash that they drew, because it looks to me like, I mean, call me old-fashioned, but it looks like it was coloured in with pencil crayon. So. That's
what I think. Or was this colouring in competition?
Yeah, it does look like a competition winner, this. I don't know that it could be taken that seriously, because it does look like this sort of thing you'd get at one of those roadside cafes where your kids are doing your head in because they're being annoying brats, so you get the colouring crayons out and one of them.
Little chef. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
No, I mean, ghosts throwing apples. All right. Why are the ghosts carrying fruit? What's that got to do with anything?
Why does that ghost on the left look so shocked? What's going on with his face?
Yeah, well, look, if he's not holding that skeleton, he's poking his finger in that ghost look. And look where he's poking him. He stuck his finger right in his ghostly hole.
Ghoulies.
That's That's such a tacky joke. Why am I laughing at that? But it is actually, I quite like it in its own way.
There you go.
Yeah, he's poked the ghost right in the ghoulies. Ghoulies, honestly. And we're just descending to being children here. But it is a children's show, isn't it? That's fair.
It is, yeah, exactly.
So, nondescriptlogos.com. Inexplicable monkey drawings what they're not monkeys, are they? Monkeys don't look like that.
I don't know. I mean,
I'd say
that must be what they look like in the show, I guess.
Well, they look like two people that have just taken a photograph to get the latest batch of Ozempic. They look like they're ready for Aussie P, them two. So the BM, that's the thing. The monkey that's missing off there is I. That's the BMI, and they've got a problem. All of them have got a problem with that, and they're a bit hefty. Them monkeys. Monkeys are generally quite agile and healthy. Not all. Gorillas are pretty heavy and chunky.
They're chimps. It says they're chimps.
Exactly. So they've been eating too many pies, I guess, mud pies. Whatever.
I don't know what's happened to them chimps.
And they're not in the jungle, are they? Because there's holly at the top of that. I noticed that they get holly in the jungle. I can see holly berries up there.
Oh yeah. No.
They would be throwing coconuts, not apples. Do you know anything about the jungle? Who made this? And monkeys generally.
No.
They don't generally hang around with skeletons and ghosts in the jungle. Nor would they be coming out in broad daylight. Nor would you see them.
No.
Weird.
But it's just the expressions on their faces. They just look.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going under there.
No, it's a load of old crap. That is.
Yeah. It's a bad cover. We've got the charts.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they've gone mad this time because we've got full price top 20.
Oh my God,
budget,
look at all that.
Budget and full price. 20 entries. I'm not going to go through all 40 of these games. It'll be here forever. I'll give you the top 10 full price games though. In at number 10 is Manchester United Europe.
All right.
In at number 9 is Cartoon Collection from Codemasters.
Okay.
In at number 8 is the Dizzy Collection.
Okay.
Up to number 7 from 8 is the Addams Family.
Okay.
In at number 6 is Mega Sports by US Gold. Presuming these are all compilations. Up to number 5 from 7 is WWF WrestleMania.
Okay.
Down to number 4 from number 3 is Space Crusade.
Right. Okay.
Up to number 3 from number 6 is Dizzy's Excellent Adventures.
Okay. That's all right.
That's different to the Dizzy Collection.
Yeah.
Somehow. Top 2 haven't changed though. Staying at number 2 is Creatures 2.
Okay.
And staying at number 1 is James Pond 2.
Surprises me that, but okay.
There you go. In the budget top 20, go from 10 to 1. Down to number 10 from 4 is Italian 90.
Yikes.
Straight in at number 9 is Bubble Dizzy.
Oh, Dizzy's everywhere.
Which isn't in the Dizzy Collection nor on the Dizzy's Excellent Adventures.
Just too many Dizzies.
It's too much Dizzy. Championship 3D Snooker is straight in at number 8.
Okay.
Ivan Iron Man Stewart's Super Off-Road Racer is up to 7 from 9.
Okay.
Go for Gold on Kicks is
Why not?
in at number 6. That came out ages ago. Go for Gold, the British version of Hess Game.
Probably, yeah.
Anyway, in at number 5 is Olympiad Collection.
Winter Olympiad, Summer Olympiad, and that's it. That's all you get.
Yeah, no more Olympiads for you. In at number 4 is Dizzy Down the Rapids.
Oh, so many Dizzy games in these charts.
Staying at number 3 is Golden Axe.
That'd be a bit weird on a tape loader, but okay.
That wouldn't be good, would it? Down to number 2 from number 1 is Rainbow Island.
Okay.
Yeah, and up to number 1 from number 2 is Arnie.
Yeah, that makes sense. It'll be in there.
Any other notable shoot up construction kit is in at 17.
Yeah.
For budget. Anything else? Oh my God! Look at number 15 in the full price top 20.
The Lineker collection.
It's the Gary Lineker game.
Terrible thing.
Who would buy that? The Lineker collection.
He would.
Dear. Gary Lineker would just buy it. Pit Fighter is also at number 20.
No, nothing good can come from any of that. I'm moving away from the chart now. I'm embarrassed by it.
Indeed. All right, that's it. That's it for this week. Next month, it's the final shows, Graham.
It's the final countdown.
It's it. This is it. The last issue of Zap 64 is next month's issue. We've reached it. We've done it.
We've reached
well,
the end.
nearly done
this
it.
This is the end we have.
Yeah. 8 games, I suppose, but 2 of them are in one pack, so it's just seven reviews. Those games in score order are Reckless Rufus,
Okay.
Bullies Sporting Darts,
Okay.
Dizzy, Prince of the Yoke Folk.
Why? No more Dizzy games.
And unfortunately, you've got that one as well.
Of course I have.
Grandmaster Chess and Renaissance Othello in one pack.
Serious. So serious.
Yeah, they're not very good. They're old games, just been re-released for some reason. Frankenstein.
Oh, no.
Which isn't the adventure. So it's not the, there's piffling bears.
That would be better.
It's something else. Match of the day.
A bit late, but okay.
So one last football game. Hurrah.
That's it.
And then Blue Baron.
That's it. That's the last one.
That's it. Who knows? They'll be over the next couple of weeks. We'll go through those 7, and then that's it. That is it. Apart from the bread bins, 2 bread bin episodes.
That's it.
The month of April. Jesus, finished this lot. Wow, that's incredible, isn't it? It's incredible that we've got through all this.
We have, yes, 1,800 games, and all we've got to show for it are these lousy t-shirts. So, and of course there had to be one last bloody Dizzy game in there, didn't there?
There had to be.
Clinging on like a sticky egg. A stinky, sticky egg. I bet it's crap. In fact, I'm just going to say it's going to be crap, even if it isn't. I'm going to try and be impartial.
Yeah, go in objective. Be objective as ever.
I always.
You might like
a Dizzy
it.
game. No, I won't. But I'll go with all of that. I could do with most things with a relatively open mind.
I think I'm just going to have a look. But I think
don't want to know. I don't want to know any more about it. I'll just deal with Dizzy when I get there.
Oh no, you're not going to like it.
No. Well, there's true to type, of course. It's not a game I've ever really got behind, if I'm honest. So.
No, and you love eggs.
I do like a good egg, and it's Easter as well coming up, but it's not going to help.
No, but don't buy your eggs from Tesco's, as I moaned about the other day. 12 quid for some egg.
No, that's
and we go and like every little else.
All chocolate's expensive. All chocolate's expensive these days, and it's also not chocolate
unless it's 12 quid.
Well, even then, if you look how much palm oil is in there, that's what's making it all rubbery and tasteless at the moment. So, big complaints from everybody.
I know.
There you go.
Oh well, here we go. Anyway, have we got anything else we want to say? I think we said it at the beginning. Keep an eye out.
Yeah, we did.
Like
So keep an eye out for the book. So yeah,
Kickstarter will begin.
About that. One last episode to go. Keep an ear out for us. Maybe appearing on other podcasts and things, because you know what, we've got a lot to talk about. We're reaching the end of this thing. People want to talk to us, so you might hear from us on other things. So keep an ear out for that too. Yeah,
you very well might do. So yeah, I think we'll leave you. I mean, that's the shortest month we've ever done. At least it's back to 7 games for next one. So there's a chunk of games
back
to
to
get
normal.
through. Back to kind of normality. So Ever, on that note, I think we'll leave. I think we'll go say goodbye to October 1992, never to be returned, never to be revisited by. At least Ghostwatch was worth talking about, and that was good. So as ever, I have been Adrian Mills,
and I have been Graham Raddings,
and you have been listening to Dizzy, Prince of the Yoke Folk. And we will see you again when we play that game next week or the week after. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Zapped to the Past podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the world of Commodore 64 games, as well as the music, films and TV from around the 1980s, driven, of course, by the issue of Zapped 64 magazine published at that time. We will return with a whole new batch of games and stuff to talk about next week. Until then, if you want to listen to or download previous episodes of Zapped to the Past, and why wouldn't you, they can all be found on our website at zappedtothepast.com, as well as being available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, Audible, Player FM, and well, pretty much anywhere where we can upload them. By the way, we do always love to hear from our amazing listeners, so if you'd like to contact us about anything in the podcast or beyond, you can do so by emailing us at zappedtothepast@gmail.com. We're also active on Twitter under @ZapToThe, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and most social media platforms. Just search for Zapped to the Past and you'll find us. Oh, and if you like the podcast and what we're doing, please do like, share, review, rate us. It really helps. Something. Apparently, the Zapped to the Past podcast is written and produced by Adrian Mills and Graham Raddings and recorded at Flaky Bits 2.0 Studio. All opinions expressed are those of the writers, and while we indeed love Zapped 64 magazine, the Zapped to the Past podcast is not affiliated with it in any way. Stay safe, see you next time, and remember, we play these games so you don't have to.